We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
In terms of how the rain may be coming in, and maybe with this for a couple of days. Matt, good morning. Thanks for convincing me to watch Champions League while I was prepping for Arkansas, Texas yesterday. Was entertained by Arsenal and PSG for, I guess I watched about 50, 55 minutes of this match. And the thing I got to remind myself is that this match was not the last one, and the final score isn't even the final score. And it gets me thinking, maybe we ought to try the aggregate thing for NFL playoffs. If we do this in soccer for the Champions League and maybe some of the other leagues too, I'd like the idea of having an AFC and NFC championship game in which you play two games in 1 week and the full score over those two games is what you go by. Of course, we'll never do it.
Well, the thing, and happy Wednesday, and there's another one today, 2 to 4. You'll get Spain and Inter. It's Barcelona and an Italian team. But yeah, man, it was a great game. Here's the one thing you have to remember about these games too, Phil, is they're a true home field advantage. They only give the visiting team like 300 tickets and put them up at the top row. Everybody you see around there is for that club. And so when you go back to the other place, same thing. You only have 500 tickets that they allot for the other team. So it's all your
way
home.
At the top.
They're chanting. They don't do it like American sports where we're like, okay, we have to give them so many tickets or whatever. It's pretty cool.
Well, at least though, if you're at a baseball game, I think the Hogs get some seats behind the dugout normally, or it's at least in the seating bowl for baseball. Football, they're going to be near the bench, never over by the end zone or anything. But you don't always get treated with respect when you're on the road with your team. I've made a decision today. Unless somebody brings it up on the text line or on our Lewis Automotive hotline via phone call, I won't be bringing up anything involving buyouts for student athletes today. Won't be bringing up anything involving no income tax for athletes or tax laws either, because I feel that's kind of been beaten around for a couple of days. So if there's anything that you want to bring up about it, then we'll open it up for you. So you just gotta make the phone call or make the text to bring it up, because Matt, I'll say this, like the people that are interested in this just because of the way sports is changing in the college sports landscape, it's just when it comes to tax laws and percentages and contract language and everything, it's all things that make a difference in the world of sports right now. But your eyes get glazed over bringing it up ad nauseum. So, it's something you had to bring up for the first two shows of the week, but I don't really think it's anything we have to bring up for the remainder of the day unless somebody wants to bring it up. I've basically figured out I'd rather chew on my own toes than talk about tax laws or buyout language today. So what do you say we just keep it to sports and some of the other, like the on-field sports or, the things that matter, like wondering how Belichick and Jordan Hudson met. The things that really,
is this
really
LeBron's
matter.
last game?
Yeah, exactly. That kind of thing. Well, there's no way this is going to be his last game. He's not about to retire. You really think he is?
I'd rather talk about that than talk about the tax law.
There you go. That's right. Would we rather talk about Well, this goes to something that you bring up more during football season about the need to keep your best players within the state of Arkansas. And then yesterday, it happened, I guess, in the third hour of our show. Kane Archer from Greenwood makes his announcement, or I don't know if it was an announcement or just somebody that he told, and then that kind of starts the ball rolling downhill, that he commits to UCF. And there's just a little bit of a disconnect here because he's a 3-star and maybe not quite the same size that Bobby Petrino would like for a quarterback, but he's also the best quarterback in the state. At least last year as a junior, he was the Arkansas Gatorade football player of the year. He's got another year to play at Greenwood, and I guess he won't grow very much. But there's a lot, man. There's a lot of two sides of this that you can see in reactions from fans. There's some. Now I should say this: I did not watch the kid play this last year or ever before. I've just seen a couple of highlight reels, and highlight reels are exactly that. They're just highlight reels. I don't think they show you the full spectrum of what a player is. So I really can have an opinion about whether or not he would belong on the team. I usually would trust Bobby Petrino to think who he'd like to be playing quarterback for him. But there's some who feel, how did you let this kid get out of the state? And then there's some who feel like it's kind of much ado about nothing because you're just not really sure if he would have fit at Arkansas to begin with. And then the other aspect of this, too, is why now getting mad about people leaving the state? Because I remember the program was about to fall into the Arkansas River when Courtney Crutchfield signed with Missouri. And now where is Courtney Crutchfield? He's at Arkansas. So it's just like reactions that are the day that the kid makes the decision. It's we might want to wait a day or two or maybe, 2 years to decide whether or not this was the right choice for the kid or however Arkansas went at it.
Yeah, I haven't seen him play either, but he's talented. I'm with you. I always think we should keep the kids in state that you can. Now, you're not going to get all of them. And the way that the college landscape has changed, who knows who's going to be our offensive coordinator? Who knows? Bobby Petrino just went and interviewed for like an intercoastal directional Carolina job last year. Did he not? Was it something like that?
I think it was coastal. Was it coastal?
It was.
Carolina?
Yeah, it was a directional. So he's going to go. He's going to be a head coach. Who knows what this? What I'm saying is, who knows how this staff's going to look in 2 years? We don't know who's going to even be the guys up there on the hill calling the shots. It could be them. For having success, it could be. But then also, if he's already interviewing for a job like that, don't you think he has some success? He's going to take another head coaching job?
But this was also a kid, and you're right. I think you're right. And I've thought about that a little bit. I wondered if maybe, him going and interview for that job may have just been leverage for a raise.
Could have been. Yeah.
You can't help but think of the other side of these things. And the other side of this, too, with Kane Archer, is look at where he's gone, where he's chosen to go. Just look what you just brought up here. You don't know who the coaches are going to be on an annual basis, truthfully. Gus Malzahn was the head coach there recently, right? I mean, now it's Scott Frost. I mean, was UCF one of the schools that initially offered Kane Archer?
Scott Frost was an undersized quarterback. Maybe there's a relatability going on. I still think there is a lot to do with relationships when it comes to your quarterback coach and your head coach and getting the right guys, in the locker room. And maybe they've had a relationship, and whatever the message is, however they're talking, they like it and you trust them. So I think there's still something to be said about that.
But the kid was getting offers in 8th grade, Matt. Like first of all, that's ridiculous to be offering college scholarships to play football for somebody who hasn't even stepped into high school yet. That's ridiculous. Number
doesn't
one.
Even shave.
Yeah, right. Number 2 is Gus Malzahn was the head coach previously. He has nothing to do with his choice now to go to play for UCF, where Gus is going to be the offensive coordinator at Florida State. So it's you don't even know if look at what just happened with Arkansas. They had 2 kids that come on campus as freshmen that basically gave up their last semester of high school. Madden Iamaliava, and then I can't remember the name of the receiver that went to Parkview, but both of them literally spent 3 months on campus. Not even, I think it was 3 months on campus. That's it. They still should be high schoolers. Now they're choosing their second university. So this is nothing on the kid in and of himself. You have no idea.
We don't even know if Kane Archer is going to end up. He's got 2 more years of high school ball, right? Like how many more years, or just one? Is this his senior year? Mm-hmm. So you never know.
It's exactly right. You truly never know. So making any statements about how could you let this kid get out, first of all, what's to say he's not going to be a Razorback in 2 or 3 years? The other aspect is I have a feeling that Bobby Petrino just has a sense of who he'd like to be playing for him at quarterback. It's somebody taller. Specifically, it's just somebody that was taller. Just look at the guys who are on the roster. So I don't know. So you can't.
I'm with you. You got it. You're going to take hits from SEC defensive ends and linebackers, and if you're a quarterback, you get hit a couple times. You got to have. I like them be a little bit bigger. Because those
little
dudes
pooch in the belly. Right?
You got to have a little weight to you. You don't want to be so skin and bones because they're coming. They're trained assassins.
Quentin Murphy was the name of the receiver that's already in the portal, and he should be a high school senior. Thank you, Scott, the tortilla guy. Couldn't remember his name.
Colt McCoy, his Texas year that he took him to the SEC or to the the national championship game. He played against one team that had some dudes on it and broke his collarbone. Just in one hit. Like he was skin and bones. He just never got hit all year.
I was not ready to make any kind of grandiose decision as to how I would view the Arkansas football program based upon, and it's nothing against the kid, how a 3-star quarterback chooses where he's going to go to school. That's not what the program's built on. I just pretty much guarantee that. But the other aspect too is that there's going to be emotion that's attached to this because it's an Arkansan who had been offered as an 8th grader at Arkansas, and he's been a topic of conversation. Like, I've never brought him up, but a lot of other callers did. Was he ever going to go to Arkansas? Is he going to commit to Arkansas? Is he going to get to market? That was like a topic for a while. And I just have a sense maybe he didn't necessarily grow or develop the way that the coaches who offered him at Arkansas, which would have been Sam Pittman, thought that he would. So to me, I'm not really sure if they necessarily missed out on somebody as a freshman. Wait a couple years after that. He may be a Razorback anyway. Here's what's halftime on a Wednesday. By the way, that's the truth. If you're upset about this, you're upset about the kid choosing not Arkansas, and you're paying attention to what's going on in college sports, for a fact he's not going to be finishing his career at UCF. Not a lot of quarterbacks do finish where they started. So here's what's halftime. It's Clay Henry with us from Whole Hog Sports, 12 noon up until 2. And in just a moment, we'll have Grant Hall for a segment. And a lot of time on the Lewis Automotive Hotline for calls and texts at 877-377-6963. So stay with us, Grant Hall, in just a moment.
I think it's your girlfriend called.
Text the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963. Lewis Automotive Group, home of the Lewis Guarantee. Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Mandy White Perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Taco Bell brought back crispy chicken nuggets, and I can't believe how good they are.
Why can't you believe it?
Because you're Taco Bell. Taco Bell.
Yeah, but a taco place can do nuggets, right?
Yeah, the Hidden Valley Fire Ranch is awesome.
Okay, they're good, but we're not a chicken place.
When did you guys become a chicken place?
Chicken? Can't a taco place do good nuggets? Are we not allowed to do both?
What do you mean?
You think it's cool to do both, right? Why are you looking at me like that?
Are they okay?
I don't think so.
We're totally a taco place that's a chicken place that's also a taco place.
Lewis Automotive has been serving Northwest Arkansas for over 75 years and just getting started.
Our knowledgeable sales team is here to find you the perfect vehicle to fit not only your lifestyle, but also your budget.
Our factory-trained service technicians keep your vehicle running at optimal level.
And if you're looking for genuine parts and accessories, our team has exactly what you need.
Relax in our comfortable lounge. And when your car's ready, we'll return it to you spotless.
Thank you for being a part of our story.
Come see us at Lewis Automotive Group, where you're more than a customer, you're family.
Take that all day. I need to sit though.
Finally make a putt. What though? Tap in pars.
Golf is back. Shop polos, hoodies, and Q-zips at Rhoback.com.
Get 20% off on your first order with the code RUSH25.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. Baseball season is in full swing, and we're into the home stretch for NBA and NHL playoffs. BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, and scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from the MLB, NHL, and UFC, BetOnline remains the number one online source for all your sports wagering information. In between games, head over to BetOnline Casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Become a member and start saving today. Chandler, the leading gas station and convenience store in the region.
Hit the greens for a meaningful cause at Mercy Fort Smith's Birdies for Babies Golf Classic on May 12th at Hardscrabble Country Club. This 4-person scramble features morning and afternoon tee times, with all proceeds benefiting maternal child services and our Level 3A NICU, helping keep families close to home. Enjoy a great day of golf while helping provide essential care for moms and babies right here in the community. Sign up today at mercyhealthfoundation.net/birdies for babies or call 479-314-1133 for more information.
The Hit That Line Now app is ready for you to download from the Apple and Google Play stores. Sponsored by Taco Bell. Live Moss.
Girl, to be with you is my favorite thing. I can't wait till I see you again. Yeah. I wanna know my issues with you. I wanna know my issues.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 79 years. Home of the Lewis Guarantee. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Always appreciate a visit from Hall of Fame sports writer and sportscaster Grant Hall, joining us every Wednesday on Halftime. Hey, Grant, good morning. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. I noticed last night Bobby Witt Jr. got to 20 games on his hitting streak, so only 36 more to catch Joe DiMaggio.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, by the way, did you see the catch that Dalton Varsho made yesterday in Toronto? It's one of the craziest catches I've ever seen. He's playing center field. He gets turned around. He trips. He falls down. His back is to the field. He's on the warning track. He looks over his shoulder, literally a split second before the ball's about to arrive, just to the left of his body, and he backhand catches it with his back to the field. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, that's. I was celebrating, as the Cardinals carried the weatherman out on their shoulders, having to play last night. But they're supposed to play 2, I think, today at Cincinnati at the Great American Bandbox.
Yeah, the Great American Bandbox. I love it. That's exactly what that is. Texas coming in, speaking of baseball this weekend, Grant, you're obviously well aware of that. Dave Van Horn had a presser before halftime started today, and it doesn't really seem like the team is as healthy as I even thought it was. Just the last thing he said was, quote, "We're going to need some guys who haven't played much to step up this weekend," unquote. So sounds like they're a little more shorthanded than we might have expected.
Yeah, he mentioned a couple of times about Souza and that injury hurting Arkansas, and then of course they've had these pitchers. Dietz hasn't been able to pitch this year, and now Carson Wiggins. Is there an update on him? Because I didn't hear Dave's thing today. Do you know, Phil, on his status?
All I know is that they were getting a second MRI because they were trying to confirm what they thought they saw on the first MRI, which is that there isn't a tear, which is the best news possible and means that Carson would be ready to pitch next year. But he's not going to. He's done for the year no matter what, Grant. Like even if it's not a tear, he's not going to be able to make it back. In a month and a half or 2 months.
Well, a former colleague, sports writer of mine, Bob Stevens, called yesterday, and he's coming from Colorado Springs because he told me the '85 team has invited us to join them. They're going to have kind of a reunion this weekend as Arkansas plays Texas. That '85 team beat Texas 4 out of 6 games, but they lost to them 8-7 in the College World Series, led 7-0 in that game, if I remember correctly. And that was the year Arkansas and Mississippi State tied for third in Omaha. It was the second time that Arkansas had been in the College World Series. And those two teams probably had the two best teams. Mississippi State had Will Clark, Rafael Palmeiro, Jeff Brantley, and Bobby Thigpen on that team.
Wow.
And managed they beat Arkansas 5-4, but managed not to win the I can still remember Will Clark coming up there. The press conferences were on the roof of the old press box at Rosenblatt. The great ballpark Rosenblatt, just in a neighborhood, in Omaha. But he'd gotten 3 hits that day and was chirping. But they didn't win it. Arkansas didn't win it. But listen to some of of course, Norm DeBryan coached the team, and Dave Van Horn was a graduate assistant that year. Kevin Campbell, Tim Dietz, David Farrell, who lettered the previous year at Arkansas, and of course went on to a great basketball coaching career from West Fork. Howard Hilton, Jeff King, Ralph Krause, Jim Kramers played in the major leagues. Pat Rice did. And then, Arkansas started 5 black players that year, and it was that was kind of a sea change, I think, for Omaha and this program. And you had Mike Loggins, Ellis Roby, Norm Roberts, Mark Jackson, Derek Richardson was on that team. And again, they really came within a ninth inning of beating Texas 5 out of 6 that year. It's kind of like, I was looking, guys, the last time Arkansas went to the CWS in 22, they lost to Ole Miss. I think, what was it? I guess 2 out of 3 in Omaha, but they were 3-3 for the year with Ole Miss, which ended up winning the national championship.
There's 2 guys that you had mentioned on that list of players out of the '85 team that I'd like to have a chance to see again. One, Pat Rice. Now, Pat Rice told me that he and Jeff King were like a package deal together because they were friends from Colorado. They both came at the same time together. Now, my last year with the Travelers was a year that Pat Rice was the Travelers pitching coach. So I would have conversations with him. He's like, "Do you really think I want to try to do Razorback games instead of minor league baseball games?" And he absolutely spurred me on towards it. He said, "You're going to love it. You're going to love it." The other question I would have is, like, Jeff King is a recluse. Is he even going to show up for this?
Yeah, I don't know, and I hope he does. It would be great. I've gotten to actually be part of a couple of reunions from the '79 team, the first Arkansas CWS team, and those were just great fun. I mean, Johnny Ray and John Hennell and Mark Brumble, I could go on and on about those guys, but they all enjoyed coming back. I'm sure these guys will. I can't believe it's been 40 years. I mean, that's crazy. But I hope as many of those guys I've mentioned, and not all of them are still living, but I think most of them are. And so, yeah, it'd be great to see Jeff. Jeff, maybe you told this story or somebody did on your program. just right after he got his pension, his 10 years, I believe, retired from the Royals. He was only about 33. Is that correct? 33 or 34 years old.
Yeah, it was only 2 months into the season too. So I mean, it literally was.
Yeah.
It was Grant. It was the day after he became fully vested in the big league pension. That's right.
Yeah, and he, because he had other priorities in his life, and that's fine. But he was the number one pick in the draft, and Sid Thrift came in here personally from Pittsburgh to watch him, and they picked first that year. Pittsburgh made him the number one selection. He had a good major league career.
Well, I think if you're looking, and Clay wrote about it in his column in Whole Hog, when you look at this year's Texas team, it's a lot different from the teams that Arkansas had played when Texas was in the Big 12, because this Texas team is built on pitching, defense, and scoring just enough run. Like they're actually one of the more lower powered offenses in the SEC, but their pitching staff is built on starters who give you 5 to 6 innings and relievers that throw 2 or 3 times on a weekend, including a freshman in Dylan Volantis, who may end up being the SEC Pitcher of the Year.
Well, it sounds like a throwback to the '85 team coached by the great Cliff Gustafson. Texas was known as a pesky team, and they would get on base and they would always bunt and they would run and move runners over, and they had they had some great pitchers back then. But it's interesting that they've got this huge lead in the SEC, like 5 games. I guess if Arkansas were to sweep them, they could get back within 2. But the race seems to be pretty much over for first place with not that many games left. I would think Arkansas, these remaining 9 against really tough competition, what would you think, Phil, if they went 5-4 or 6-3 even? That'd be pretty good for these remaining 9 games.
Well, I think you win more than you lose. Yes, absolutely. With these teams, and you could even lose 5 out of 9 and, think, well, this is the kind of caliber team we'd play maybe in a Super or in Omaha. But I more than anything, and it's independent of winning a league title or even where you're seated, I just want to start seeing Arkansas beat good teams on weekends. Not just once, twice, because that gets me thinking that they can do it in June.
Yeah, it's funny. I was at Hardscrabble Fort Smith on Sunday watching the game with some guys down there, and some of them were saying, well, the Razorbacks had a softer schedule early, and now it's just schedule catching up. I still think this team can be heard from in a big way. I don't think it's all about schedule and so forth, but that they really have a good team. And, it's funny because some people question the pitching, some people question the hitting, and maybe that's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing. But if those two can come together again, then you could have something. But I mean, this losing 3 series in a row, it's not fatal. I mean, it's just the league. I looked at the softball standings today, Phil, and Oklahoma's lost 5 games of all. I think they've lost 4 or 5 games this year in this SEC. And Arkansas got off to the 1-5 start, but now they're looking at a national seed probably. And Bree Ellis is being mentioned prominently as maybe the player of the year in softball. So it's a tough league in every sport, and Arkansas is going through it right now.
Hey, Grant, we have first time we've talked to you since the NFL draft. We had 2 kids go. Didn't think Tesla would be the first one taken. Went 70 to Detroit. I absolutely love that pick as far as I like that organization. Then Landon Jackson at 72 to Buffalo. I think they both ended up at good spots. Even Andrew Armstrong ended down in Miami. What were your thoughts on the NFL draft and where those 2 kids went?
Yeah, I thought I agree with you. Tesla to Detroit, where there's some Razorbacks, and Jackson to Buffalo. And I thought it was funny. He said he thought it was a spam call, when he got it. And who doesn't answer their phone on draft night? It's good that he did. I mean, they would have eventually gotten hold of him, but and then people probably thought maybe Armstrong would have been drafted, but sometimes as a free agent, Matt, I mean, you can be almost better off going to a team that really wants you and that you talk to and so forth. So, what is it, 8 or 10 of these guys? I'm not sure the exact number signed free agent deals. So maybe you'll see more than just the two. But they kept that streak going of, I believe it's either 29 or 30 years in a row of having at least one guy drafted.
You sure about that? Guys don't want to answer the phone. The guys have to answer the phone on draft day. There were a couple of guys that probably were not. They might think a little differently if they had to do it all over again, just because of the prank calls. I know Shador got one. There was another kid who got one, and I truthfully, I can't imagine a more. Evil's not the word. It's just you want to try to ruin somebody's big day. It just, to me, it's an awful thing to do to somebody. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I thought of when you're like, well, you got to answer the phone on draft day. Well, two guys might have not wanted to.
Yeah, that's true. Shador, what do you guys quickly make of his going way down the list there?
I just think it's a question of talent. I'm not a hater by any means, but I don't think his arm is strong enough. He's not really that athletic. He's ran the same offense since the 8th grade. If he was talented, Grant, they would have taken him. You can't really. I guess people make an excuse and say, well, he does this off the field or he does this off the field. They don't care. They can you play football? Okay, come on. And I just don't know how good he is.
94 sacks the last 2 years, something like that. I read, and there's a whole conspiracy theory thing going out there, but it's probably not worth going into. So,
well, Grant, how about this? How about this thought? Because 20, however many years ago, 21, 22 years ago, Moneyball comes out. And college baseball, college football, different things and all that, I get it. But you're talking about a staff on the A's there that were looking at college stats and saying, well, these mean something. So we just had Isaac Tesla had the 4th fewest receptions and yards for any receiver taken in the draft. Andrew Armstrong led the SEC in receiving yards. He didn't even go in the draft. Shador Sanders set records at Colorado for passing yards and touchdowns. So can we get to the place where stop pointing to players' statistics in college for how NFL scouts view them?
Yeah, I read a long story today about you may have seen about the New York Mets and their pitching staff and how they're really a lot of these guys aren't big names and that everything is such so analytics driven, and of course right now they've got a 2.33 ERA and nobody else is under 3 in the big leagues. Just how they've kind of cobbled this thing together, and other teams have kind of done it that way, but. All I know is, Phil, the Cardinals and Pirates are looking up at everybody else in their division.
Well, those two teams right now are just thanking the Lord that the Colorado Rockies exist. Goodness gracious.
That's right.
They're 4-25.
And the White Sox. Yeah.
Well, Grant, we'll leave it there. Looking forward to seeing you Thursday. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, enjoyed it. See you.
You got it. Grant Hall with us every Wednesday on Halftime. 877-377-6963 is our Lewis Automotive hotline. It is Wednesday, so get the kids over to Joe's Grill and Cantina tonight. Delicious meal for $5 for the kids. And coloring contest. Kids win cool prizes. And karaoke night where the kids are the stars. That's every Wednesday night. Joe's Grill and Cantina. Nothing like it around town. It's right there at 3400 South 74th across from Harps in Fort Smith and online at joesfortsmith.com. More Halftime in just a moment.
Do you want to play rough? Say hello to my little friend.
This is Halftime.
That's the ease at which you get information. You want it, you get it. Like that. Ask your phone. Group chat. Smartphone. You're always connected and informed in real time. No waiting. So if you're diabetic and still using finger sticks to read your blood sugar, what are you waiting for? Knowing your blood sugar levels instantly is important for managing diabetes. Call US Med at 888-665-0696. To learn more about continuous glucose monitors, a real-time instant method to track your blood glucose, US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 1,000 private insurers. And the best part? Call 888-665-0696 and we'll give you a free insurance benefits check today. So call 888-665-0696 today. That's 888-665-0696 and manage your diabetes as easy as...
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Are you a middle-aged man feeling low on energy, struggling with weight gain, a decreased libido, or even battling depression? You don't have to feel this way any longer. Hi, this is Stephen Pittman, a licensed nurse practitioner and expert on testosterone replacement therapy. At Pittman TRT in Fort Smith, our priority is to restore your vitality and energy the way you felt in your 20s. No need to drive an hour or more. Call or text Pittman TRT today at 479-274-1747. That's 479-274-1747. Pittman TRT. Get back to feeling like your old self again.
I have enough trouble deciding what's for lunch. Imagine how stressed I was during the home buying process. Thankfully, Jeff Marks at Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, took the reins.
That's right, Ty. Buying or selling a home is the biggest financial decision you'll ever make. I have years of experience and proven expertise that help guide you through the process.
All my female friends love my house. I'm not kidding either.
Trust me like Ty did to guide you through every step of the way. Call me, Jeff Marks, at 479-414-1193. Big decisions, simple solutions.
Hey everyone, Braden Webb here at AAA Business Systems in Northwest Arkansas. You may remember me from my days playing baseball for the Hogs. Now I'm hitting home runs for AAA Business Systems and enhancing the ways company do business in our area. If you want to partner with the best office technology provider in Northwest Arkansas, call me today at 479-442-4185. Let's win together and remember, anything else is just a
This is Coke Zero Sugar. Could I be the best Coke ever? Try and taste with your ears. Hear those bubbles? Imagine them tingling on your tongue. Fizzy deliciousness. Listen to that cascading liquid. A mouth-watering waterfall. Irresistibly tasty. Zero sugar. Crisp, refreshing, and ice cold. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Try and decide.
This is Dusty Waymeyer with Forge and Fire Waterworks. I've spent 17 years in the pool and fireplace industry, and I'd love the opportunity to get your pool ready for the summer. Mark and Dream of Chris will vouch for me. They're ready for barbecue and outdoor lounging already.
Forged and Fire Waterworks gets a 5-star rating from the Chris.
We clean your filters free at every startup and closing. The standard opening is just $200. 479-551-4262. Forged and Fire Waterworks, setting a new standard in the pool and fireplace business.
Brothers Roofing and Restoration, a licensed and insured local roofing contractor in Arkansas. Since his playing days for the Hogs, Brother Alexander has been on rooftops, many years as an adjuster, and in the past decade as a roofing contractor. He knows how to help you through the insurance process while replacing your roof using only the industry's best materials. And being a lifelong Arkansan, he'll be here to stand behind his workmanship and warranty. Call 479-353-3877 to arrange a time for Brother and his team to inspect your roof.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Down my throat, they say my stomach's nearly fried from eating cigarettes for breakfast. But if I follow 7 easy steps, I might avoid my death, the pyramid of health. So come on down, bring a sacrificial goat, and don't forget to wear your feathers and your silly little necklace, and get real high with the shrimp up in the sky, and you'll no longer fear your death, the pyramid of hell.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at Hit That Line AR and on Facebook and Instagram at Hit That Line. Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 79 years. Home of the Lewis Guarantee. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
You never quite know why anybody puts certain things on social media. The Razorback football Twitter account has put up an 8-minute, 46-second, got to be a highlight reel, of every single of the 41 touchdowns, well, I guess it'd say 43 touchdowns, that Darren McFadden scored at the University of Arkansas. 41 on the ground. He caught a couple of them. Did he throw for any?
Yeah, absolutely, he threw for some. But you don't get, I mean, how does it, the receiver gets the 6 points. You don't get the 6 points, when you're the quarterback.
You got to count that, though. You might as well put those seven touchdown passes.
I would count it as a pass TD for him. He's the best Razorback that, in the, what, some say ever, but I know in the last 20 years, he's the best Razorback I've seen.
Even a kick return touchdown his second year. So there would be 8 on top of, that'd be 49, 51. 51 touchdowns for an 8-minute, 46-second highlight reel on the Razorback football Twitter or X account, whichever one you want to call it. It'd be a fun one to watch. Sure. 877-377-6963 for calls and texts on the Lewis Automotive Hotline. What was it you had just brought up to me a moment ago? Oh, yeah, we got a text in here. Lee wanted to know the name of the song that had just played. That's the Viagra Boys, which is a band that have you known about is this a Swedish punk rock?
I heard them a couple. Well, I think I texted you or I told you what we were driving to Harrison a year ago or so. I was like, man, I heard this group, and I tried to my attempt to find out who they were was just to say one of their lines in the phone and let Siri do it, and it didn't work. And so 6, 8, 9 months later, I hear it again. And it's like, oh, I think I know who that is. And they're from Sweden. They're a little punk rock band. They just make you laugh. They're just fun. I mean, what's a punk rock band supposed to be? Fun?
They better be if they're not fun. I mean, what are we doing here?
2-minute, 58-second songs, and you're like, yep, that was cool.
Just something to maybe, jump around and throw your shoulder into somebody with.
Ooh, like your boy off of SNL. Yeah, no, I don't think that has zero interest for me to go to the mosh pit and jump around. Absolutely zero.
Well, Matt, you played a sport that was basically controlled moshing.
But you kind of know what's going on, and your intelligence helps you from getting hit. You see it's a cover 2, I better do this or I'm going to die. So it's like, yeah, I'll figure that out.
I also don't remember referees being in any mosh pit that I might have been a part in as an 18-year-old or 17-year-old freshman in college. So I don't think there are any rules that you're supposed to follow. No one's throwing any penalty flags
no, you're just picking up your teeth
either.
Yeah,
pretty much. And for somebody like me, who might be one of the smaller guys on the floor, I got to be like David Meggett, got to be like Ashton Genty.
Number 20. I like right. David Meggett. Yeah.
I got to basically, crawl around everybody's knees and just find my way out of that. I've seen a video. This was from Ohio State. I think it was from earlier in this week or late last week. And it looked like either a giant, I don't know if it was a brawl, because the guys looked actually like they looked alike. It was like it was now who knows what fraternities demand that their pledges do. Get into some wild, crazy, shirt-off fist fight by the
that
student
looked like
union.
Fist tackle. I mean, it looked like it didn't look like they were actually punching. It looked like they were like tackling each other. Yeah.
That's the first time when I went to college and I was 17. I've told you guys this stuff on the show. I mean, I was a moron at age 7. I'm not that much smarter at age 48, but at age 17, I actually had the wherewithal to tell my parents when they asked me, how are you? Because they thought I was going to play college baseball. That's what I kind of wanted to do. I pissed that chance away by joining a fraternity. And then they asked me how I'm getting my exercise in, and I had the temerity to tell them that I was getting my exercise in mosh pits at fraternity parties.
Nice.
And I was.
Nice.
I was. Have you ever tried that before? It's been a long time since I did anything like that because, well, it's a little tougher to rebound off anything at this age, at 48.
Well,
Heck,
and you
I
might have
trouble.
had some spirits that were helping you out. Yeah.
Not like I really knew how to handle that then either, Matt. But it's like, there was me, and I was actually a little heavier then than I am now. So I'd have been about 180, bouncing around, throwing my shoulder into somebody, figuring I can run for the exits if I threw my shoulder into the wrong person. Oh, goodness. But that was always fun. It's always fun. Those fraternity parties were just a boatload of fun.
Were you in a fraternity? I know 45, we kind of talked with him a little bit. Were you in a fraternity?
No, my dad was. I didn't follow in his footsteps. I don't know, man. That's not for me, I don't think.
Is that so? Did you have teammates that were a football that were in fraternities?
There was a kicker that was, I think before I got there was a couple pledges, and I won't say any names, so it'd have been like my sophomore or junior year. They let some football or whatever you pledge, you come into the fraternity, and they got kicked off campus. So I think that was. I don't know how you do it, man, Phil. Like if you're going to be a college athlete, you don't have any time to go do anything else. Like you got to go to class, you got to go to practice, and it's nonstop. Now I get the spring semester, but then I would go to basketball, so it's like I didn't have any time to do any of that.
Well, the thing is, because you treated sports.
That
as
was
a
a fraternity. Yeah, that was my fraternity. Was the team?
That's the right way to look at it. Plus, I think you viewed it as a job, and why would you want to go anywhere else?
That's right.
It was where you were most comfortable. At that age, at age 17, I didn't know where I was most comfortable. The fraternity probably wasn't it. The baseball team was, but I'd pissed that chance away. So who knew? I had no idea what I was going to try to get myself into. I have no idea how we even got into mosh pits.
Oh, the Viagra boys.
From the Viagra boys. That's how it happened.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay. So then the question from Jason and Drasco that I was going to ask the question to start the segment, do you think Shedeur makes the Browns 53-man roster? Just really didn't interest me all that much. We brought up Viagra boys instead.
Yeah,
I think the answer, Jason, is I'm kind of dubious that he'll make it.
Well, one of those guys, either Dylan Gabriel or because then you got the Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco and Deshaun. I mean, somebody the younger kids can be on the practice squad, so maybe he makes the practice squad.
Oh my gosh, it's like, could you imagine somebody being followed around by his own personal photographer when he's on a practice squad?
You got to say no pictures, please. We'll actually, when I make the 53 roster, we'll do one. We'll do one photo then. But yeah, chill out, man. It's football. That NFL, it'll humble you. You better be all in.
I would think draft day can be a humbling experience too. None more so than for Shedeur, than anybody in the history of the sport.
Do you think he's telling people he's a generational talent anymore? Did you see that conversation, him and Cam Ward? He's like, I'm a generational talent.
He's saying yes, sir, no, sir.
Like, whoa. Like, bro, you haven't thrown a single pass in the NFL yet. You need to chill out.
No, I can't get into the kid's head, but I would just wonder if he's also viewing it as this was rigged against me. Everybody had something against me, and so, I'm still really the best quarterback in this draft, but nobody really knows it, and I'm going to go out and show them. It's probably what's in this. I'm just thinking out loud.
That better be what's in your head. that better be what you're thinking.
Here's what's in my head. We got a break. 877-377-6963 for the Lewis Automotive Hotline, and we're back to wrap up hour number 1 right after this.
Do you want to play rough? Say hello to my little friend.
This is halftime.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today and see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit can save you up to $500 off your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by the Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
Valley Family Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, same-day crowns, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Farmer, and now Dr. Blaine Van Nice work to give all of their patients a better life with a better smile. Valley Family Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A at the entrance to Riley Farms. Let them know you heard this on ESPN Radio and receive $300 off a store card. Valley Family Dental, 479-226-3500 for an appointment or visit valleyfamilydentalpractice.com.
Wave Rural Connect is excited to introduce our new 300 megabit internet service. Perfect for streaming, remote work, and homework for just $64.95 a month. Get no worries, cyber safe managed Wi-Fi for a total of $71.95. Order today at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. We're adding new services and expanding our areas for you. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
The hens are a yelping and the toms are a gobbling. That means it's time for turkey season. Strut on in to Jelco Outdoors for all your turkey hunting gear. The largest selection of mouth calls, friction calls, box calls, and locator calls in the area. Ammo with a large selection of TSS turkey loads. Plus a great selection of shotguns for youth and adults in 410, 20, and 12 gauge. Get ready for spring turkey season at Jelco Outdoors, home of the World Slam. Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson, my buddy Simon Wheeler with Wheeler Power Sports. Stop by the studio.
If you have a name brand motorcycle, ATV, or side-by-side you would consider selling or trading, call or text our used bike buyers at 479-783-5822 or visit us online at wheelerpowersports.com. Buy, sell, or trade Wheeler is the one for 2025. Try to be Fort Smith's authorized dealer for Kawasaki, Suzuki, Polaris, and Slingshot.
Simon Wheeler at Wheeler Power Sports in downtown Fort Smith, keeping the good times rolling since 1967.
Largemouth bass will be spawning soon at ponds and lakes all over Arkansas and Oklahoma. One of the best lures to catch them on at this time is the famous Yum Dinger. We make them by the truckloads in Fort Smith in 3, 4, 5, and 6-inch sizes, and they are in tackle boxes of bass anglers all over the U.S. and all over the world. Wacky rigging the 5-inch model can't be beat for spawning bass. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Yum Dinger.
It's sad that we live in an unsafe world, but we do. Would you be able to show the police who was at your home if something was taken? Guardtronic installs alarm systems as well as camera systems. We here at ESPN rely on our Guardtronic installed cameras to keep an eye on what's going on around our building, as many of you do. Guardtronic has been serving the River Valley for over 60 years. Call Guardtronic for a free estimate so you'll be able to show the police who the bad boys are that took your belongings. License E50.
Call or text the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963.
To make your girl stop what she's doing and turn around. I want to do my little dance. I can drink about 15 beers or maybe 25. It depends on the night. Drop a lot of interest attacks about Europe in the 1950s. But it doesn't mean anything if you aren't here with me, because I need you and you need me. You need me.
Welcome back into halftime, live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
We are on the road for the next two shows for halftime tomorrow. We're at the Stadium Shop right by Baum-Walker Stadium for halftime live, 11 to 2, and then Friday, Swift's Jewelry on the Fayetteville Square next to Hugo's. If you're one of the first 25 fans at the Stadium Shop tomorrow, when you make a purchase, you'll get a free Razorback pint glass, and by a regularly priced item, you get another of equal or lesser value at half off. And as we've practiced it all week long, there is the Tuck Fexus gear as well, which I continue to say the proper way, and I haven't heard the alarm bells go off on this station yet. But there's another 2 days left to maybe think about that.
That could be a B-side to Flimsy Sandwiches.
That's exactly right. Clay Henry will join us coming up shortly. But before we do that, let's talk to Cecil, who's giving us a call on the Lewis Automotive Hotline. Cecil, good morning. What's going on?
What up, fellas? What up? It's still morning, Phil. Oh, my goodness. I thought it was really late. I've been in here working, man. Yeah, I was just wanting to say a few things, man. Let me start on...
Well, you're only going to have about a minute here, Cecil, so you'll have to get into it.
Okay, well, Kane Archer's a great quarterback. It is no way he shouldn't be up at the University of Arkansas.
Okay.
He won a championship for high school when he was in ninth grade. I've watched him play many games. He can throw the football, and he's just 16, and he's a good size right now, and he can throw the football. He's a really good quarterback. And the guy that did Shadur on the prank call, it's no way he didn't overhear his dad or somebody in the organization is talking about, well, we're not going to get him or something, because something led him to do that. I mean, because I didn't know nothing about him not getting drafted. I didn't nobody in the NFL wanted him. If you're around stuff like that, and I guess he thought it was all right to do, but they used that as an excuse that his computer was open, and he got it and did that. Anyway, I figured that was totally disrespectful. And I'm hoping that he can get in there and do what he can do, you know. And if he don't, he don't. He got money as it is, but I know he want to play football, so God bless him. And y'all have a blessed day.
Cecil, always good to hear from you.
Yeah, thanks, Cecil. I'm with you on the Kane Archer thing. I think Kane Archer should. I mean, you'd like to see him up there, but we don't know what happened the way the new college is. And Shadur, he can play football. He can go to the CFL. He can be a back. He can get in. It's not the end of the world. He's still got 3, 4, 5 years of being a quarterback somewhere, trying to figure it out.
Hall of Famer Clay Henry joining us for the remainder of the show once we get to 12 noon. Lots of calls and texts coming up during that time on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, 877-377-6963. Stay with us. We are right back.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
For decades, the Rebel Crawfish has been a tackle box staple. But now, get ready for the next generation. Introducing the all-new Rebel Matte series of Rebel Crawfish. 4 all-new ultra matte colors that eliminate glare and enhance realism, mimicking a natural crawfish like never before. The same iconic shape and swimming action, but now with a stunning matte finish. Upgrade to the all-new matte series of Rebel Crawfish today at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Dick's Sporting Goods, and local tackle shops everywhere. Rebel. Catch fish anywhere.
It's sad that we live in an unsafe world, but we do. Would you be able to show the police who was at your home if something was taken? Guardtronic installs alarm systems as well as camera systems. We here at ESPN rely on our Guardtronic installed cameras to keep an eye on what's going on around our building, as many of you do. Guardtronic has been serving the River Valley for over 60 years. Call Guardtronic for a free estimate so you'll be able to show the police who the bad boys are that took your belongings. License E50.
Every great team has its core players, but when the season gets tough, adding the right free agent can make all the difference. The same goes for business. At Robert Half, we found that 67% of companies surveyed plan to increase their use of contract talent to handle workload peaks and backlogged projects. With Robert Half's specialized recruiters' experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can quickly find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
Who can you trust to sell your home for the most money with the least amount of drama? You need a team of agents with decades of experience, commitment, and of course, tens of thousands in marketing. I'm talking about the Limbird team. Tara Limbird Real Estate Group has sold over $1 billion in real estate. Tara's team can give you a cash offer in 72 hours, or use Tara's high-octane marketing to sell your home quite possibly for thousands over asking. Find out more at limbirdteam.com. LIMBIRD.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, occasional showers and thunderstorms capable of producing some heavier downpours today. A high this afternoon will be in the upper 70s to lower 80s. Showers and storms with heavy downpours at times tonight could see a couple of inches of rain, especially across the south. Overnight low in the lower 60s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Cop CDL Academy. Call them today at 479-632-1050. Cop CDL Academy, expanding horizons.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Crabtree RV Studios on ESPN 95.3. Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center Studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that would respect you. Oh, ask me if I'm all right. Well, kids dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah.
People said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's Halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. What's my hot dog? Let's go, man.
The angles were so bad, we showed them at halftime.
What they were one Razorback.
Like, what in the world were we thinking?
It's vintage Matt Jones.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Hello and welcome back into halftime. We move along 1 minute after 12 o'clock in the afternoon, officially into the second half of the week now, I guess. Calls and texts on the Lewis Automotive Hotline come in at 877-377-6963. We have no other guests throughout the remainder of the show. It is you, it is me, it is Matt Jones, it is Christian Johnston. We'll be welcoming the one and only Hall of Famer Clay Henry. You can read him in Whole Hog Sports in just a moment. And then there's still this disconnect between folks who I don't know if this texter has seen Kane Archer play or not, but Cecil, who called us a moment ago, a regular caller on our various shows, said that he's seen Kane Archer in person, quotes the state championship, the age, thinks he's got a good arm, and then Hogwild, who's a very active texter on our hotline, says that Kane Archer, isn't good. Thinks that Cecil is, in Hogwild's eyes, a delirious River Valley resident who sees Razorback red eyes, and he says he's only 5'11". So, I mean, there's a disconnect in how people in the state that pay attention to high school football are viewing Kane Archer.
Yeah, I guess that's what I was going to ask. Is he just kind of upset that he's leaving, or did he never want him in the first place? You know?
Right. Well, Hogwild, there you go. We've got a question for you on that one. Let's welcome in the one and only Clay Henry, Hall of Fame sports writer. You can read him in Whole Hog Sports. And Clay, good to have you on today. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you all for having me.
You got it. Have you seen Kane Archer? I've not seen Kane Archer play, so I only see the highlights. I can't have.
Yeah, that's what I have. And he looks like a good quarterback, but it's like he's obviously doesn't fit the profile of a tall, lean Bobby Petrino passing quarterback.
He kind of looks like what Scott Frost looked like. I think there's some type of relatability there.
I used to hear Coach Broyles and Darryl Royal say the same thing. When you had plenty of scholarships, you take all the quarterbacks you can find. They don't do that anymore. The numbers are such that you're going to have 4 and maybe a walk-on to run the scout team. And we have a nice little run of quarterbacks that are 5'11", 6 foot, 6'1", that have gone off to play against Arkansas and do well. It's like, Taylor Moore would be. Taylor Powell would be. Taylor Moore is a golfer. Taylor Powell is Fayetteville High. Went to SMU. Not to SMU, but to Missouri. And we saw him in Little Rock, and Dan Enos thought he was too short. There's been other examples of that, where somebody thought that, they needed to be taller, and that's obviously what Petrino thinks about Kane Archer.
Well, and honestly, I'm actually more interested in the guy that just transferred in from Florida State, Trevor Jackson, than Kane Archer, because he can help now. Kane Archer, if he committed to Arkansas now, would be on campus next spring, wouldn't play that year. And I just can't help but think about the reaction of Courtney Crutchfield's recruitment, in which he commits to Mizzou. And, man, there were just a lot of people that thought the foundations of the program were crumbling. It's time to just eliminate everybody because we just let the best player in the state get out of the state. And now he's on the team. So you don't know how this is all going to work out. And reacting the day that the kid makes his decision is just like maybe not the way to go at it, but that's the world we live in.
I think you're right. It's probably not the way to react, but it's tough when you see an in-state kid that is obviously talented and has won games and won championships go somewhere else, and you take a risk. There's no doubt.
Do you think it has something to do with relatability for the average Razorback fan, the fan who is maybe kind of turned off by the change in college sports and the feeling of they're just here to get paid? And I don't agree with this view at all. I think it's a select few that get viewed this way, that are this way, and then everybody else just kind of has to live in the wake of that opinion. But do you think that it's a matter of they just want somebody that's relatable, somebody who's from the state? Is that what this could be about?
It could be. I think that you're onto something there. The pay for play has brought out more criticism, and it makes people uncomfortable. And it just seems like there's something new along those lines. Players leaving. I'm talking about Madden. The quarterback that just went to UCLA. I mean, all this stuff, it just like, well, if he was an in-state kid, he wouldn't be doing that. Mm-hmm. And there's something to that. Now, I'll tell you, if you object to the height of Kane Archer, what's Drake Lindsey? that one gets me a little bit because he's about to start for Minnesota, and he's 6'5" and 240, 250, and I mean he throws, he's got the arm strength. I mean, he's as good with the deep ball as you've ever seen. I mean, what did he throw? 70-something touchdowns at Fayetteville. I know that we do.
How far did Dan Eno set this program back then? If you start thinking about now, he was up here for this long, and this is how it's like. Wow, you just missed on these guys already.
Yeah, I think there's something to that, Matt. Yeah, but he did well with in part of his time here, and he did poorly in other times. So, but it's picking quarterbacks, man, that's the eye of the beholder.
It's tough, yeah.
I mean, it's one guy likes somebody, the other guy doesn't. And I do know that Bobby likes them big and tall and fast. He likes that, be able to, have that rocket arm. I'm not sure that Kane Archer's arm is exactly what Bobby's looking for. Be able to throw it in a tight window, 30 yards down the field. I mean, he's got a good arm, doesn't have a great arm. That's what I saw in the video that I saw. Nice looking high school quarterback, probably going to do well in college. Can you find something better in the SEC? Maybe so.
Hey, let's go to the phones. We've got a couple on hold here. 877-377-6966, Lewis Automotive Hotline. Good afternoon, Charlie. You got the floor. What's up?
Phil, I don't think you should ever just give the tuna the floor.
You want me to set a topic for you then, Tuna? You want me to give you something to talk about and be very broad about it?
We've got a chair in the back.
Tuna, we put you on hold.
I love to talk about anything. So what's it going to be, Phil? Give me a topic. What are we doing?
We just brought up Kane Archer. If you want to go in that direction, we can talk about Arkansas, Texas baseball.
Greek freak and trying to punch the back of people's heads.
We did a segment on mosh pits earlier. I mean, have at it.
Hey, Greek freak. I will say this about that real quick, Matt. Do you think Halliburton's father should be held to the same standard that any fan that does that crap, should he be banned from going to the game? Just like any fan,
especially if it's somebody's father.
He should, out of all the people, he should know better, And,
exactly.
And the other thing is, you don't go poke the best player so the best player on both teams. I know he's not a guard, but let's don't go poke him before. I guess the series is over now, but you don't want to make the best player mad.
I don't understand how they're not held. Like, if you're going to act that way, you should be banned. I don't care if you're a father, mother of a kid or not. I mean, come on. If a fan does that, he gets thrown out. He's done. He shouldn't be allowed to come back. I mean, you act stupid, you shouldn't be able to be there. So that's just the way I look at that. Yeah, man. With Giannis, man, I think that might be the last time we see him in a Bucks uniform too, man.
Was he a Laker? Him and Luka?
Oh, goodness. Man, I don't know where he winds up. I think Giannis is one of those type of cats, man. He can fit it anywhere. You know, he plays the 1 through 5, can defend. You know, he could just.
Yeah, when you're a top 5 player in the NBA, you fit in.
You can do it
any team would like you.
But I'm gonna comment on the Archer thing real quick. I think, Phil, on that. Look, I think we're living in such a different time now, to where people just are gonna have to. We got to let this stuff go. I mean, even if you do bring in Kane Archer, like you said, you can't predict if he's going to stay or whatever. I get the whole relatability thing. I get it. But listen, there are 40 or 50 new faces on the team every year. And if we're not used to it by now, come on. I mean, I get it. We got to let this go. I mean, it's not changing. I mean, it's not. We're not going to get to a point where somebody's going to look at somebody and they're going to sit over there on the bench for a year. Maybe they sit a year, but KJ coming back, that's cool. But, you know, by next year, if he don't win the job and somebody, I mean, he's gone. I mean, or, you know, it's just the way it is. And it'd be the same with Archer. You know, is he going to be good? I don't know. Like you said, Clay, he doesn't have the size per se, but, you know, there's Baker Mayfields, there's Johnny Manziel. I don't know how athletic.
Well, here's the other thing too. Like Charlie, stay with me here for a moment. For all the opinions about other quarterbacks who have been shorter than 6 foot and have had success, that's independent of the kind of quarterback your offensive coordinator has history with, and that's not going to change. His preference will carry more weight than the opinions of the fans, and I hate to put it in those terms, but that's the truth, and you know that too. Bobby Petrino's not going to change how he prefers a quarterback to look, to be built, and the traits for that quarterback to have. So, you know, that's the guy who's got the decision here in terms of who's going to be his quarterback. Now, the other thing I would wonder too, and this throws the decision onto the kid, onto the player. Now, this independent of whether or not Arkansas actually might have said, you know, we really want you, or maybe we don't. He's going to a program in UCF that's got a second-year coach. There's no pressure yet built up. There's pressure built up in this job at Arkansas right now. Who's to say that a losing season or even the same season you had next year keeps the coaching staff intact? So, I mean, there's a decision to offer a kid a scholarship, and then there's the decision by the player of where it is he chooses to go. And I think sometimes we forget about that.
When did you stop growing? You know, about 18, maybe? You know, I don't know how long we all stopped growing, but he can still grow 2 inches. Like, I don't think that would be out of the realm.
That, man, I'm upset about it. I stopped growing at 13, and that's a fact. And it's a fact. I was 6 foot, and I've never grown again. It's a fact. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you, Charlie.
There's a bitter man.
I've never heard Tuna bitter before.
That was bitter. That was straight, like, I mean, his hand was dealt short. So it's just, or let's just say at the end it didn't happen.
Bitter Tuna just means it was cooked improperly.
I didn't grow any taller after college, but I definitely put on the freshman
to like
15.
17, like that's what I mean. When's the last time you kind of grew half an inch or so? You know, like 17 maybe. Like it's what I'm saying is he could end up being 6'2", 6'3". Yeah,
he could, and maybe by the time he does, he's a
by the time he's
anyway.
throwing a pass for Arkansas. That I mean, or even for UCF, he's still 2 years away before he's even really doing anything.
Eduardo, good morning. Eduardo's called us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline. Eduardo, what's up?
Man, thank you for taking my call. As I'm starting to smell the menu starting tomorrow night at Palm Stadium. And I hope the players are starting to smell it. Because when you play Texas, let me say this, I was winged on this rivalry. It just means more. And they're coming in #1 in the country. We've lost a little over a mojo, and it's time to get it back. And I went to a couple songs this morning. Whoa, I'm getting ready for this series because we absolutely, you look at the last 3 series, we've lost the rubber match game. we've lost some tough games that the last 3 series from just winning. You know, this is the best baseball in the country. And tomorrow night, that menu is baking in the oven. And it's just up to the players. We got to get game 1. You know, it's hard to win against these teams you're playing in this heavyweight division in the SEC. You know, to win 2 back-to-back. And to me, to win in this series, the key is winning game 1. And you're capable of doing just that. You got to, one, what is the recipe? What is Hawk Mojo? Well, it's your hitting, and you got to start driving in the runs. Number 2, it's your pitch. You pitch like you're capable of pitching. And number 3, you got to cut out the errors. You know, you're still a very good. I think you're still by defensive percentage. You may lead the conference, but the last couple of series not so much. You got to cut it out. And if you do that, we're going to win game 1. And we're going to go on to win this series and turn things around. And I hope the players are listening today because that menu is baking. And they're coming to your house, baby. And if you don't think Texas means something, you need to, Matt Jones play it for it, baby. Because let me tell you something. It means something to beat the Texas. They're coming in here with the hook 'em horns. And we got to give them the woo-pick suey back to them. Because I tell you what, you still a lot of baseball to play just yet. You got to get your swagger back. And I'm going to the Eagles, baby. Take it to the limit. Because that's what these players got to do. You got to play to the maximum of your ability. And if you start doing that, woo! We're going to meet the number 1 team in the country tomorrow night at Bob's Stadium to get things rocking, baby. Wow. Thank you for taking my call.
I'm ready for a game right now, guys.
Who does it better, the Nature Boy Ric Flair or the Sherpa Eduardo?
It's the Sherpas.
There's no question, right? There's only one right answer.
I tell you what this team needs right
I
now.
like taking it to the limit, man. That's one of my songs.
The best thing that can happen, if you're going to win game 1 and if you're going to win the series, no more than 3 pitchers pitch on Thursday, tomorrow. Zach Root goes at least 5. If he can't get through the 5th inning, then whomever it is that comes out of the pen finishes that inning, leaves guys on base, and then Aiden Jimenez takes the game from there. That's how I want to see tomorrow go.
Less than 6 outs for Aiden Jimenez? Is that what you're is that like an ideal
I don't mind
world?
if it's more than that. If it's 3 innings, I think there's something about Aiden, and we saw him a couple of weeks ago. He pitched on a Friday and then on a Sunday, and he was fine. I think he needs to pitch twice on a weekend right now, and the bullpen has shown itself to be a little bit tired on Sundays just from not getting enough innings from starting pitchers. And the Sunday starting pitcher now is a TBA, so I think they're throwing Beidelshees for the time being maybe into the pen Friday or Saturday. If that were to be the case, then he doesn't pitch on Sunday. If he doesn't pitch the first 2 days, then he may be the starter on Sunday. But the best thing that can happen, the thing that Texas gets more than anything, this is not a great lineup that Texas. It's a good lineup. They make plays in the field, but you know what they get? They get solid starts from pitchers every single game. That is the number 1 thing that can settle a baseball team down. It takes pressure off your hitters. It takes pressure off your fielders. It takes pressure off every other pitcher on that team. And if I were to point to a reason right now why Arkansas, I think, has lost the last 3 series, I don't think it's a matter of a lack of timely hitting too often. There's a couple things here and there, but you're not going to drive every run in. It's a lack of starting pitching, and that's got to change for this team to go deep. 877-377-6963 for calls and texts on our Lewis Automotive hotline. Clay, I know we got thoughts on this, but we got to break because we went a little bit long in this segment.
I thought you were going to break.
But I need your thoughts on this and thoughts from any other Razorback fan that's listening out there after the break. So stay with us on Halftime.
I'll be ready.
Call or text the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963. Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Sandy White perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Taco Bell brought back crispy chicken nuggets, and I can't believe how good they are.
Why can't you believe it?
Because you're Taco Bell. Taco Bell.
Yeah, but a taco place can do nuggets, right?
Yeah, the Hidden Valley Fire Ranch is awesome.
Okay, they're good, but we're not a chicken place.
When did you guys become a chicken place?
Chicken? Can't a taco place do good nuggets? Are we not allowed to do both?
What do you mean?
You think it's cool to do both, right? Why are you looking at me like that?
Are they okay?
I don't think so.
We're totally a taco place that's a chicken place that's also a taco place.
Lewis Automotive has been serving Northwest Arkansas for over 75 years and just getting started.
Our knowledgeable sales team is here to find you the perfect vehicle to fit not only your lifestyle, but also your budget.
Our factory-trained service technicians keep your vehicle running at optimal level.
And if you're looking for genuine parts and accessories, our team has exactly what you need.
Relax in our comfortable lounge. And when your car's ready, we'll return it to you spotless.
Thank you for being a part of our story.
Come see us at Lewis Automotive Group, where you're more than a customer, you're family.
Take that all day.
I need to sit though.
Finally make a putt. What the tap in force?
Golf is back. Shop polos, hoodies, and Q-zips at Rhoback.com.
Get 20% off on your first order with the code RUSH25.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. Baseball season is in full swing, and we're into the home stretch for NBA and NHL playoffs. BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, and scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from the MLB, NHL, and UFC, BetOnline remains the number one online source for all your sports wagering information. In between games, head over to BetOnline Casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Sandy White perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Taco Bell brought back crispy chicken nuggets, and I can't believe how good they are.
Why can't you believe it?
Because you're Taco Bell. Taco Bell.
Yeah, but a taco place can do nuggets, right?
Yeah, the Hidden Valley Fire Ranch is awesome.
Okay, they're good, but we're not a chicken place.
When did you guys become a chicken place?
Chicken? Can't a taco place do good nuggets? Are we not allowed to do both?
What do you mean?
You think it's cool to do both, right? Why are you looking at me like that?
Are they okay?
I don't think so.
We're totally a taco place that's a chicken place that's also a taco place.
Lewis Automotive has been serving Northwest Arkansas for over 75 years and just getting started. Our knowledge
Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 79 years. Home of the Lewis Guarantee. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend, Matt Jones.
And also Hall of Famer Clay Henry, which you can read at Whole Hog Sports, joining us on halftime up until the end of the show at 2 o'clock. Clay's a great piece in Whole Hog that I read yesterday about the history of Arkansas and Texas, and really, I mean, I've viewed LSU as the measuring stick in the SEC since Arkansas has been in this league, and Texas was the measuring stick during the time that they were in the Southwest Conference too. And man, I hadn't even thought about it until you wrote about it, about the pitching staff for this year's Texas Longhorns is vintage Longhorn baseball. I mean, this is not a team that...
It's the way they did it.
Yep. But it's really not a team that outslugs you. It's a team that just keeps you down and wins low-scoring games, built on really solid starting pitching and 3 or 4 guys in the bullpen that are able to shut the door in a weekend twice and usually 3 times.
They'll play a little small ball. They're going to move the runners up, because they know that the value of a run. I mean, it's kind of like playing a U.S. Open course where there's not going to be very many home runs, not going to be very many birdies, so to speak. And they're going to make you earn your runs. They're going to keep the ball in the ballpark. They're going to play good defense, and that's pretty much what the way Texas was. I mean, you go back and look at the pitching staffs that they had under Cliff Gustafson, and it was amazing stuff. All these guys that you saw, they pitched in the bigs. I mean, they were really talented, a lot of velocity, and that was unusual in that day. They didn't have. There weren't a lot of guys throwing 92, 93, 94. It was a different gun. Have we talked about the difference in guns from that era and this era, that they just were slower?
Well, my understanding, too, is that the gun years ago would pick it up when the ball was coming to the plate, crossing the plate, and now it picks it up when it's right out of the pitcher's hand. Yeah, so, I mean, that's just physics. It's faster the moment you release it than when it's 60 feet away.
Yeah, gravity's done its thing on it, as it gets to home plate. So it's going to be a little slower.
I also think that the guns might be hotter, but guys they throw harder than they did before.
They do. Yeah, I think most people will tell you that. There were exceptions in that day. You had guys like Nolan Ryan that you could tell was a different speed. But yeah, it's Texas. They had the velocity, and they had a lot of it. It wasn't just 1 or 2 guys. They had 5 to 8. I think Scott Tabor says that there was a thought that they had 5 of the top 8 pitchers in college baseball in one season that they played them.
I mean, in 1 year, come on, they had Calvin Schiraldi and Roger Clemens on the same staff.
Exactly.
And those were 2 pitchers that had a hand in the Red Sox almost winning a World Series. I think it was 2 years later. I mean, they won the College World Series in '83. The Mets World Series was '86. And they were right there. Schiraldi was part of the reason that the Red Sox blew that lead in Game 6. But here's the thing that I wonder about. You just faced a pitching staff in Florida that statistics-wise was the worst in the SEC that's not Missouri. And Missouri doesn't even count as far as I'm concerned. Florida's pitching staff was the worst in the SEC numbers-wise. And they actually did a number on the Razorbacks in some cases. And I wonder if, I don't know how Texas goes after batters, but what Florida did last weekend was get Arkansas hitters into bad counts by crossing them up early. Off speed, breaking pitches early in the count. There were a ton of 0-1 counts, a ton of 1-2 counts. And it's like, look at some stats by the end of a series. Yeah, look at the number of runs scored and all of that, but sometimes it doesn't always reach that way. Number of hits doesn't always look that way. I mean, look, Arkansas scored more runs against Georgia than Georgia did against them, and the Hogs lose 2 out of 3. But I'll bet you that the team that has more 0-1 counts is the team that the team that's hitters that are more 0-1 counts is the team that probably loses a series. And this is a pitching staff that
they're going to throw strikes.
They're going to throw a ton of strikes, and they don't strike a lot of batters out. They just induce weak contact and have guys that make plays behind them.
So there's a couple of thoughts on this series. Number one, Texas, they're tougher teams. They've played at home. They haven't been to a place like Arkansas this year. That will be different for them. They also they're going to be the hunted. Arkansas has been the hunted the last 3 weeks. They were number one. We forget that they were tied, at the top with Texas until the last 3 weekends. I don't think this has suddenly become a bad team. I think, you win some close games, you lose some close games. And they have to find their mojo. And when you say they need better pitching, better length from their starting, more innings, I think Gage Woods is part of that.
Yeah.
Bill. I mean, it's like, he went from 1 inning to, what was it, 3 or 4?
It was 3, and this is something that I don't remember.
Maybe you get 5 out of him.
I don't remember seeing an Arkansas pitcher pull something like this off, where a guy who was hurt early in the season could end up becoming a savior. That Peyton Paulette, he wasn't able to make it back. Same with Jackson Wiggins. Isaiah Campbell in 2017 was hurt all year long, wasn't able to make it back. But this is a case of a pitcher who truthfully has ace stuff. I mean, SEC Friday ace stuff in Gage Wood. And I wouldn't be surprised if at some point, and the results this weekend will have something to do with it, if Gage is not the Friday pitcher, maybe even next week or the week after to close out the regular season, because he has the best stuff as far as the starting pitching staff is concerned. And, man, that would be a shot, and that would be a huge shot on the arm for this team, to get a starting pitcher with great stuff who's still in early to mid-season form and hasn't thrown a lot of pitches yet. Like, that's the kind of pitcher that can take you a long way.
I think you're right. And why not do it against Texas? And I mean, he's an Arkansas kid, and I guarantee you he gets it. He knows. He knows what the Longhorns mean to our state. He's a Batesville kid and grown up as a Razorback, and he should be chomping at the bit to get out there this weekend.
877-377-6963, the Lewis Automotive Hotline open right now. And, hey, Crabtree RV Center in Alma, they continue to do it for all of our listening audience. River Valley, Northwest Arkansas, as they've done for 75 years and counting. At Crabtree RV Center, every buyer and their family gets the best RV purchasing experience to choosing the right RV, personalized financing, and the top-of-the-line parts and service department on site. It's Crabtree RV, right where I-40 and I-49 come together in Alma beside the Cracker Barrel. Online at CrabtreeRV.com. Stay with Halftime, back right after this.
You take drugs, Danny?
Every day.
Good.
This is Halftime.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text BODY to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text BODY to 321-321. That's BODY to 321-321.
Mungo like candy.
This is Halftime.
Looking to protect yourself and your family this flu season? Law's Drug Store at 6802 Rogers Avenue offers the latest vaccines for adults and seniors in both COVID-19 and the flu. Law's Drug Store has friendly pharmacists ready to assist you with no appointment necessary. Call 452-6116. It's quick, it's easy, and in most cases, free with your insurance. Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Open 6 days a week to care for you and your family.
It's Kubota Orange Days at Gray Brothers Equipment with interest rates as low as 0% for 84 months and reduced pricing on all Kubota inventory. It's time for your new Kubota at Gray Brothers Equipment. That's Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poto, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon. Now through 6/30/25, see Gray Brothers Equipment or go to KubotaUSA.com for more information.
The Hit That Line Now app fueled by Taco Bell. Online and on the air and now everywhere you go. Tune in to the greatest moments of Razorback sports with Chuck Barrett, Bo Mattingly, Tommy Kraft, Ty Richardson, Phil Elson, Matt Jones, and Ruskin and Zach with our Hit That Line Now app fueled by Taco Bell. Stay connected no matter where you go with the Hit That Line Now app fueled by Taco Bell. Download for free in the Apple app or Google Play stores. Just search Hit That Line Now. It's fueled by Taco Bell.
Since 1992, the Inn at the Mill has welcomed guests to experience the most unique place to stay when visiting Northwest Arkansas. Centrally located at the Johnson exit off I-49, the Inn at the Mill has established a rich tradition of comfort, convenience, and value. Whether it's the big game, business travel, a trip to Crystal Bridges, or a weekend getaway that brings you to Northwest Arkansas, the Inn at the Mill has a spacious room with ample space to spread out. And when I'm there on business, I appreciate the fast free internet to keep me connected to work and the laid-back European-style breakfast to start the day. Experience unique and different at the Inn at the Mill, just off I-49 at the Johnson exit. Call 479-443-1800 to make your reservation. That's 479-443-1800 or visit innatthemill.com. The Inn at the Mill, where the past meets the present.
It's one of the biggest weekends of the year at Wheeler Power Sports. May 2nd and 3rd during the Steel Horse Motorcycle Rally, we're throwing an open house you won't want to miss. We're talking food, awesome prizes, slingshot demo rides, and rally-ready deals on bikes, ATVs, and more. And even that Friday, we'll have Ruskin and Zach reporting live from the event. Bring your bike, your crew, and ride into Wheeler Power Sports, where the action is just getting started. Wheeler Power Sports, Fort Smith's power sports store since 1967.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Winding your way down Baker Street, lighting your head and deck feet. Well, another crazy day. Drink the night away and forget about everything. This city desert makes you feel so cold. It's got so many people, but it's got no soul, and it's taking you. You were wrong when you everything. Used to think that it was so easy. Used to say that it was so easy. But you're trying now. Another year and then you'll be happy. Just one more year and then you'll be happy. But you're crying now.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 79 years. Home of the Lewis Guarantee. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
And our great friend Clay Henry with us through the remainder of the show. Read him at Whole Hog Sports. Clay, I made a commitment at the start of the show to not bring up anything involving state income tax or buyout language in contracts or NIL money unless somebody else brought it up on the show. That was for all the texters. That was for all the callers on the Lewis Automotive Hotline. That also counts for you. So is this anything you want to bring up? Is this anything you want to talk about? Or can I just move on to something else? Because my eyes are glazed over continuing to discuss this stuff.
Without speaking, tightly on that subject, I'll just say that things change, and in 2 weeks it might be something else. So So I'm not going to worry about it unless it stays the same for more than a year. Is that fair?
Good way to handle it. Very, very good way to handle it.
It's going to have to stay this way for a year, and then I'll address it.
Okay, so then I'm going to move on to something again. If anybody out there listening is interested in state tax laws or minutia inside the contract for student athletes,
buyouts,
have at it. 877-377-6963. I want your opinions. We've given you ours over the last couple of days, and I just don't really know any other way to take it. Let's see. Where can I take something else here? I want to ask about the quarterback who actually did transfer to Arkansas, Trevor Jackson. Where does he fit in here? And I understand KJ Jackson is highly touted. They really like KJ Jackson. I thought he would be the second stringer this next year with maybe a chance to start after Taylon Green is finished at Arkansas. I appreciate Grayson Wilson. The kid from Little Rock is very talented, but I also, know when I'm reading about Trevor Jackson, 4-star, good arm talent, and I know that they feel like they might. I don't know if it's a matter of an upgrade, but somebody who might be more game ready to play if you need him this next year, and if Green gets hurt.
Well, he's been around college campus. He's been around the routine that you do in college. Which makes him more ready, and he'll be more in tune with what they're trying to accomplish, both in the meeting room and in practice and in the weight room. Let's talk about Petrino is what he likes, and because we were talking about what he doesn't like with Kane Archer, and I mean that's a guess. He hasn't told us that he doesn't like Kane Archer. He hasn't said that, but something's made Kane Archer, want to go somewhere else. Bobby likes them to be an outlier. He wants them to be a Matt Jones. Like there's something about a guy that is different than everybody else and can do things that you can scheme with. And I think, height is one of them, arm speed, ball speed, the way you spin it, how fast it comes out, that's another thing. But if you look at Lamar Jackson, Taylon Green, Ryan Mallett, the quarterbacks, Jeff Brom that he had at Louisville, all the quarterbacks that he's had, he wants them to be able to do something that is an outlier. Size, speed, ability to run, all those things mixed together. That's what he's looking for. And
when I think of an outlier with Taylon Green, I know we point to his ability to escape, just his athletic ability overall.
Correct.
But I think the distance he can throw the football when he's on the run is an outlier because it's like
arm strength.
Oklahoma State throw.
That's the throw I was about to bring
up.
One
of the best throws he made all year, and we didn't snag it.
Well, he did do it against Auburn, and he hit.
He hit
Isaiah Satania, and that was the play of the year that that you think, oh my gosh, that's looked like a bad play, and you say, oh no, and there it was, and it was a game changer, and he made one to Tesla in the Texas A&M game where he kind of flushed out and scrambled and makes a deep throw. So those are outliers. Not everybody can make those plays. In other words, escapability and then make a throw.
Did you see any? Now I know I didn't get a chance to go to spring practice. You went to a few of them, Clay. Am I right?
Two.
Was there anything that you saw from Green that looked different from last year in terms of mechanics
more accurate.
or arm slot?
Yeah,
okay.
No. So what looked different is the arm slot, and we saw it last year. And I say about the Mississippi State game, he had it down. When he had time, which was Mississippi State, and then somewhat against Auburn, he was accurate. When he didn't have time, and then that he was throwing either quick or late or, on the move, well, he wasn't as accurate. But when he could get his feet set in the pocket, he was accurate. And that's what I saw. Plus, it looked like they gave him more time. And if you give that guy time, he's going to cut you up. He's got, and that over-the-top motion is definitely there. He sets his feet more consistently. I mean, I think that's what I saw, a more consistent, more accurate version of Taylor Green.
Yeah, and Taylor Green, as he gets comfortable, I mean, I think, Clay, I don't know what you think, but I think that he can make every single throw. Like his arm strength, we're talking about what can he do, like what is he elite at? He's got just as strong as arm as any. He's got a strong enough arm to play on Sundays. And then his mobility, there's not a lot of guys that are 6'5" and run a 4.4.
So what he has to do is beyond that, though. He has to use the middle of the field. He's got to be able to.
He's got to get comfortable.
His eyes have to move around from 1 to 2 to 3, and it doesn't have to be that quick, but it has to be. He has to get to 3 because 3 was open a lot. He forced it into number 1, which was Andrew Armstrong. He did not see his tight ends. Tight end left. Luke Haas, there's no question that's partly why he left, is he wasn't getting the ball.
I know Haas recently said on I think it was the Coaches in the Mouth podcast that money didn't have anything to do with him going to Ole Miss. And that plays exactly into what you're talking about, Clay.
And I think that they're going to use the tight ends, and I think the focus is those guys. That's not a hard throw. The middle of the field throw is not a hard throw. It's an easier throw. You just have to know where the linebacker is. And if you know where the linebacker is, that is a throw where you can really put the pressure on safeties because then they can't play run. But you played Arkansas last year, you didn't have to worry about the tight end because he wasn't throwing it to him. Not on a consistent basis. A little bit better late than it was early, but early he was the forgotten man. And I just saw them use the middle of the field in the practice time that I was out there this spring.
Well, I've wondered, it's in the progression of a quarterback, and I think of it in terms of baseball. It's like sometimes some player who had trouble catching up with a fastball is just always going to have trouble catching up with a fastball. Sometimes a pitcher that's a little short on velocity may end up always being short on velocity, no matter how much you work on it. This is a different thing, though, with Green. If it's a matter of you always lock in on one receiver and you just don't seem to like to use the middle of the field, is this a mental block? Is this just, comfortable to the style of play that he played previously? Because it's not a physical limitation.
This is something that I watched, and I don't have any data. And I wasn't at road games, so I couldn't, you can't, when you're watching on TV, you can't see the whole field. You don't get the full view of 22 guys on the field. And so you see what the camera shows you. So, I was always frustrated with that. I made the decision to kind of back off and don't do the traveling, so that's my fault. But at home games, I was there, and it looked like the opposition knew where he was going with the ball and could blitz from the backside.
Okay.
In other words, if Armstrong is to his right, they can blitz from his left. He's not going to see it. It's going to be there too late because he's focused in on that guy. And what you want to do if you're the quarterback is you throw it where the blitz came from. Well, if you're looking somewhere else, you don't see it in time. And that's what I saw with Talon last year. And again, I don't have the data. I can't say that's where the blitz came every time, but it seemed like that's what people were doing to scheming. And you got to beat that. You got to be able to, to look the other way some. And that's why I say going through the progressions, you're going to see that open guy.
877-377-6963 is our Lewis Automotive hotline if you got a call or a text about that topic. And if you're looking for high horsepower row crop tractors, combines, utility tractors, hay equipment, compact track loaders, or mini excavators, stop by your nearest WT Equipment dealer. It's your home for New Holland ag and construction equipment, sales, parts, and service. They've got it all at any of their 8 locations. New Holland hay equipment and twin rotor combines are second to none in harvesting ability. You can give them a call or stop by a store or just check out their website at WTEquip.com. WT Equipment is your partner in progress. Back to wrap up hour number 2 of halftime after this break.
And like Jackie Gleason said, my talent came from the Lord, so I can't really take any credit for what I've been blessed with.
This is halftime.
This is Coke Zero Sugar. Could I be the best Coke ever? Try and taste with your ears. Hear those bubbles? Imagine them tingling on your tongue. Fizzy deliciousness. Listen to that cascading liquid. A mouth-watering waterfall. Irresistibly tasty. Zero sugar. Crisp, refreshing, and ice cold. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Try and decide.
Looking to protect yourself and your family this flu season? Law's Drug Store at 6802 Rogers Avenue offers the latest vaccines for adults and seniors in both COVID-19 and the flu. Law's Drug Store has friendly pharmacists ready to assist you with no appointment necessary. Call 452-6116. It's quick, it's easy, and in most cases, free with your insurance. Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Open 6 days a week to care for you and your family.
Hey guys, this is Ethan at Wheeler Power Sports, and we want you to stop in and see Drew at our apparel department. On-road or off-road, we've got you covered. Helmets, jackets, gloves, footwears, and everything in between, from top brands like Alpine Star, Icon, Scorpion, RST, Bell, and many more. Also, see Lane and team at the Wheeler Power Sports parts department. From standard maintenance items to custom accessories and add-ons, Wheeler's got you. Wheeler Power Sports, 901 North 11th Street in downtown Fort Smith, keeping the good times rolling since 1967.
Brothers Roofing and Restoration, a licensed and insured local roofing contractor in Arkansas. Since his playing days for the Hogs, Brother Alexander has been on rooftops, many years as an adjuster, and in the past decade as a roofing contractor. He knows how to help you through the insurance process while replacing your roof using only the industry's best materials. And being a lifelong Arkansan, he'll be here to stand behind his workmanship and warranty. Call 479-353-3877 to arrange a time for Brother and his team to inspect your roof.
This is Dusty Waymeyer with Forge and Fire Waterworks. I've spent 17 years in the pool and fireplace industry, and I'd love the opportunity to get your pool ready for the summer. Mark and Dreama Christ will vouch for me. They're ready for barbecue and outdoor lounging already.
Forged and Fire Waterworks gets a 5-star rating from the Chriss.
We clean your filters free at every startup and closing. A standard opening is just $200. 479-551-4262. Forged and Fire Waterworks, setting a new standard in the pool and fireplace business.
Budweiser, the American lager. A time-honored recipe, true to our original process, brewed using the choicest hops, rice, and best barley malt, delivering great quality beer since 1876. Budweiser. This Bud's for you. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch Budweiser Lager Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Who can you trust to sell your home for the most money with the least amount of drama? You need a team of agents with decades of experience, commitment, and of course, tens of thousands in marketing. I'm talking about the Limbird team. Tara Limbird Real Estate Group has sold over $1 billion in real estate. Tara's team can give you a cash offer in 72 hours, or use Tara's high-octane marketing to sell your home quite possibly for thousands over asking. Find out more at limbirdteam.com. LIMBIRD.
Call or text the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963.
Synthetic approach to not be lonely. Make my die. She starts away my turn. I said don't fall in love with the moment. She said I got lots to learn. You know I'm in love with this city. The green is turning brown. Life's pathetic now.
Welcome back into halftime, live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Anybody interested in going to Shea Stadium tonight? Well, I still want to call it Shea.
Billy Joel playing?
City Field, where the Mets play. I still want to call it Shea after all these years. Well,
It's Wiener Day.
Billy Joel was going. I'd be there. I would have taken off. Yeah, today is Dollar Hot Dog Day because a famous Mets fan passed away yesterday. The Mets announced his passing at the age of 98. A gentleman who the year before had gotten famous because he was the Mets veteran of the game. He was a World War II vet, left the military in 1947, returned to New York, rooted for the Dodgers, eventually became a Mets fan, and his name is Seymour Wiener. And so they are honoring him with a dollar hot dog night the day after he passes away at the age of 98. And I keep thinking to myself,
why would they make it 98 cents?
This is fantastic. This is fantastic. When I die, I want the same thing. I want dollar hot dogs, but my name doesn't work for it or anything. This is just brilliant marketing, and I'm sure Seymour Wiener would have given the go-ahead for this as well.
I would think so, and there's nothing wrong with other major league franchises or baseball or minor league. You can have Seymour Wiener Day too. It doesn't matter that he's just the Mets guy. You can make him your guy too. And I got a question for everyone. When it's a dollar hot dog, how many do you buy on your first trip? You don't just buy one. How many would you buy?
Going back? For one thing, the lines are usually too long for dollar hot dogs to just keep getting back in line.
Well, so do you get two? Do you get
I've been
four?
told you need to order at the very least two, and it needs to be done in even numbers.
That's what I'm saying. 2, 4, yeah.
Yeah, one for each side of your mouth when you're eating.
And if there's a nice row, you can buy 10. Just come back with 10.
It's not like the Mets really need too much marketing. They have the best record in the majors right now. On a Wednesday night, though, dollar hot dogs for Seymour Wiener. We didn't even need any reason to do dollar hot dogs at Baum Walker. There wasn't anybody who passed away with the name Wiener or Dog or Frank or anything like that we could have gone with. But it's the first time I've seen dollar hot dogs all across the country, but it's the first time I've seen it because a gentleman died whose last name was Wiener.
Yeah, I like it. So do we count that a former Razorback had a big game for him? Do we count Brendan Nemo?
Oh, I don't think he can. It's Nimmo was he was a commit to Arkansas that eventually was the first round pick of the Mets, right?
Yeah, he was signee, not just a commitment. He signed. He was an early signee.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know. I can't go with the if he ever put the uniform on and played in a game, then I'd say he was a former Razorback. Otherwise,
he came and worked out here in the winter.
He was a woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah, he came and worked out with the pro players. He was hung out with James McCann.
Stay with us into our third hour of halftime. Lewis Automotive Hotline open at 877-377-6963. Hall of Famer Clay Henry will be with us for the last hour as well, and no other guests, you and us, so stay with us.
Budweiser, the American lager. A time-honored recipe, true to our original process, brewed using the choicest hops, rice, and best barley malt, delivering great quality beer since 1876. Budweiser. This Bud's for you. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch Budweiser Lager Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Insurance company throwing you a curveball? Are they crowding the plate and not offering you a fair settlement? If you've been injured in a car wreck, you need an experienced attorney to fight for you. I'm Jackie Mock with Mock Legal Solutions, licensed in Arkansas and Oklahoma. No win, no fee. Call Mock Legal Solutions today for your free consultation. 479-769-1505. Real advice, reasonable price.
This is Dusty Waymeyer with Forge and Fire Waterworks. I've spent 17 years in the pool and fireplace industry, and I'd love the opportunity to get your pool ready for the summer. Mark and Dream of Chris will vouch for me. They're ready for barbecue and outdoor lounging already.
That's right, Dusty. We love the work you've done for us over the last 2 years.
We appreciate you trying to save us money by showing us how to maintain our pool and fireplace.
Call us at Forge and Fire Waterworks, 479-551-4262, and find us on Facebook.
Who can you trust to sell your home for the most money with the least amount of drama? You need a team of agents with decades of experience, commitment, and of course, tens of thousands in marketing. I'm talking about the Limbird team. Tara Limbird Real Estate Group has sold over $1 billion in real estate. Tara's team can give you a cash offer in 72 hours, or use Tara's high-octane marketing to sell your home quite possibly for thousands over asking. Find out more at limbirdteam.com. LIMBIRD.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, occasional showers and thunderstorms capable of producing some heavier downpours today. The high this afternoon will be in the upper 70s to lower 80s. Showers and storms with heavy downpours at times tonight. Could see a couple of inches of rain, especially across the south. Overnight low in the lower 60s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Cop CDL Academy. Call them today at 479-632-1050. Cop CDL Academy, expanding horizons.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Crabtree RV Studios on ESPN 95.3. Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center Studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Ask me if I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it. We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah.
Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's Halftime with Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. My heart, dog. Let's go, man.
The angles were so bad we showed them at halftime.
What they were one race back.
Like, what in the world were we thinking?
And vintage Matt Jones.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
And welcome back into Halftime 101 on your radio dial. Phil Elson along with Matt Jones and Clay Henry with us, Hall of Fame sports writer. Read him in Whole Hog Sports. Calls and texts on the Lewis Automotive Hotline at 877-377-6963. And be careful, most of our listening audience right now under a tornado watch up until 5 o'clock Central Time. So I had plans to drive to Fayetteville later on this afternoon or this evening. We've got a live show tomorrow at Stadium Shop by Ballmarker Stadium. I may end up getting up early in the morning and making the drive instead, because it doesn't look like I-40 or I-49 will be really great driving weather over the next few hours. So be careful out there. And yeah, you can stay tuned to the stations because any weather alerts will be broadcast on our stations as well. They'll just cut right in and take it over from there. There's a couple people that texted in, guys who don't believe that Seymour Wiener's name was Seymour Wiener. It really was his name. Like, that's also back in the day. Like, this is a 98-year-old man. Were they making those kind of jokes in 1940? Maybe they were.
I mean, what about, you had Dickie Nutt. I mean, he's a nut right there. That's right. That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, parents do know what they're naming their kids. It's not just a boy named Sue.
What's your favorite name? I mean, Bumper Pool's pretty damn good.
I mean, that is pretty. Colt McCoy. That's even though it's but that's a if you're going to think Texas quarterback, Colt McCoy would be
My favorite name, Clay, is Zach Crotchfelt. Used to be in.
Yeah, I remember that.
You know why? That. That's right.
Do you like Cannon Whitby? I mean, a long range shooter in basketball. His name's Cannon. You like that?
I need to go find the audio clip of when, was it last year or the year before at Baum Walker? I think it was the year before, 2 seasons ago. And Zach Crotchfeld is pitching against the Razorbacks. Bubba thought he was going to use that name to get me to crack up on the air, and it ended up blowing up in his face. He couldn't talk for like 3 minutes because I think, what was the term? I think I said, because he's like, I don't know, you come across the idea of this, says, what if he was a Native American? Would it be really cool to have a name like Chief Crotchfelt? And I thought, I'm not quite sure if I'm supposed to laugh at that or not. And then the kid throws 93 miles an hour, and it hits me. It's like, you know what? Crotchfeld's got some fuzz on the fastball. Bubba didn't talk for 3 minutes after that. That's my favorite name in sports, but it's only because of that reaction.
Well, thank you for answering the question.
What was that Tennessee slot receiver 2 years ago? Squirrel White.
Squirrel White.
That's pretty good.
So
I like that. My neighborhood starts with Squirrel, so that was kind of cool.
So that's Harold Horton's nickname. Wilson Matthews gave it to him when he was a player. He's Squirrel, yeah. And I've never figured out, well, why did he do that? I mean, Wilson Matthews. Sure he had a reason. But he called him Squirrel.
We had a pitcher with the Travelers my first year who was from Aruba. His name was Radimus Dykhoff. This is one of my favorite names right there, too. Actually, pretty good left-handed pitcher. I think he spent a very short amount of time in the major leagues. And that's definitely a name that you looked at the pronunciation guide for. First and last name. I think people really got a big kick out of his last name. Drew Dog loves Dick Trickle. It was a great he's a race car driver, and I guess that's where the name Cole Trickle came from what was the movie with Cruise, Days of Thunder? He's Cole Trickle. That's right.
Speaking of announcers and pronunciation guide, I do not think the boys doing the Florida series paid any attention to any of the information that Oliver Gregg gave them on Arkansas's pronunciation. They just...
Did we have some fun pronunciations?
Oh, I mean, it was Cozeel. I mean, they did that for much of the game, and they had some other botched areas that I was just like, come on, guys, y'all can do better than this.
Vital messes people up, but it's actually a pretty easy name to say.
It's not that. Yeah, if you just look at it and think about it, you can handle that one.
A soccer player that played for Ireland, Snodgrass.
Was that? Did he just go by one name?
Absolutely.
Then they fell victim to the most common mistake when you're talking about Hawaiian-born players, and they're like, "Well, what do they eat now that they live in the States?" Come on, guys.
Savages.
Hawaii's been a state since 1959.
Well, we had somebody before the season started asking that if this was the most internationally flavored Razorback team, and the person quoted the kids from Hawaii.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
If you're in Hawaii, and I've been there, that is something you do not say unless you're ready to be corrected. You say, well, hey, y'all ever visit the States? You will get a lecture. You will, from a native Hawaiian, they will lecture you that they are a state. And I guess Gainesville and Hawaii are a long ways apart, but those boys down there didn't realize that Hawaii is a state.
Stubby Clapp is a great name. Troy sent him, former Traveler, played in the big leagues. I think is he still the Cardinals AAA manager? He was for a long time at Memphis.
Moonlight Graham.
Well, that's right. What was his first name? Can't remember what his first name was. But Stubby Clapp was also known for doing backflips when he would run out to the field like Ozzie Smith did. That was always a. Now, how about a great nickname? And I looked this up earlier because today is Phil Garner's birthday. You remember Phil Garner, infielder for the Astros, the Pirates, managed the Astros too. This may be my favorite nickname. He was Scrap Iron. And just absolutely. First of all, it detailed the way he looked because he had that thick, downward turn mustache that you kind of picture, like a bad guy in Old West would have.
Yeah, a mustache with some character.
He looked like why am I forgetting the name of the character from Yosemite Sam? He actually had the Yosemite Sam mustache.
Yeah.
But then he played like he would absolutely slide in spikes up. So he's going to be Scrap Irons.
A nice Sam Elliott mustache. Yeah.
Yes. He looked more like Sam Elliott than Sam Elliott did.
Absolutely, yeah.
I just don't know if he had the voice or not.
I like Lenny Dykstra. He was Nails. That's a great nickname.
Davalon. Now, all right, let me get into Arkansas baseball here for a moment since you bring up a guy who kind of has a player comp like Lenny Dykstra, because Davalon is very much like Dykstra in the way he at least what he looks like at the plate.
And he wears 24.
Yeah, and he needs something from the top of the batting order in order to set guys up. Eloy needs more guys on base. Now, part of that has to do with getting the number 8 batter, the number 9 batter on base too. But Davilan's got to get on base, and he's getting pitched to a little bit differently now. You know, a lot of his outs have been deep fly outs to left field, but you also see him chasing a little bit outside where you hadn't seen him doing that before. And I'm seeing pitchers really doing a good job keeping the ball away from Davilan, haven't given him anything to pull, anything into right center. His power numbers are down from that. And, man, I know he's come close a couple of times to hitting one over the fence in left field. It's the same to pointing to, you know, the ball that Thomas hit on Sunday that fell short of the fence. That was not the home run saving catch that the kid made in center off Kahil Eloy. It was just a ball that fell a little bit short. I have trouble pointing to that to say, well, we were that close to winning. But with like that,
those are important plays.
They're very important plays, and I was just trying to, like, this team I think Eloy's the best player on the team because his defense at shortstop is a separator. But if I think who the most valuable hitter on the team was while they were going, when they got up to number 1 in the country, I think it was Davilan.
Yeah, Phil, I would have to go back and really chart the games, but I have this feeling that the first half of the SEC season, there were a lot of games, and this would be the case at Vanderbilt, I think, and Ole Miss, where the wind's blowing out. And those opposite field home runs when the winds blow out, or those opposite field fly balls, they seem to get out more than they have been lately. And it just, you know, maybe I'm wrong, but it just seemed like we had chances for those opposite field to blow out a little more than we have lately.
Ooh, Christian had a good name here for an athlete, too. This is one of the great Hall of Fame names, Dick Butkus. I mean, that's top of the list in terms of just name and name recognition, and the guy that was, you know, you remember his play more than you do his name, too. But, of course, I still remember when Dick Butkus was on some NBC sitcom in the 80s when he was making a career out of acting, and he still was playing basically Dick Butkus. But can anybody remind me what that show was? 877-377-6963. That was the era where Alex Karras was on Webster, and Dick Butkus was also trying to make a career as a comedic actor. I'm pretty sure it was on an NBC show. We got a break. Want to remind you that in less than 2 weeks is the 4-person scramble that will be benefiting maternal child services and the level 3A NICU at Mercy Fort Smith. It's the Mercy Fort Smith's Birdies for Babies Golf Classic, May 12th, Hard Scrabble Country Club. You can still sign up for it. It's a 4-person scramble with morning and afternoon tea times. All proceeds, every single penny, goes right to maternal child services and the level 3A NICU at Mercy Fort Smith. It's a great day of golf, and you can also help provide essential care for moms and babies right here in our community. MercyHealthFoundation.net/birdies4babies. That's for FORE. MercyHealthFoundation.net/birdies4babies or 479-314-1133. Raleigh Finger's a good one too, Caleb. You're right about that. Stay with Halftime. We'll be back in just a moment.
I think it's your girlfriend called.
Text the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963. Lewis Automotive Group, home of the Lewis Guarantee.
From Memphis, Tennessee, number 10, Todd Day. What a slam dunk by the freshman out of Memphis.
All right, Saul, what do you think of the intro? Is that legendary enough for you?
It was great. Okay. Yeah, it was legendary.
Don't miss a Morning Rush, only on ESPN 95.3. ESPN 95.3 is live on location.
ESPN 95.3 is live and local today at Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford because today is the final day of the employee pricing sale. Hey, it's Colton Little, and I want to remind you that today is the final day that you can take advantage of employee pricing on every new Ford on the lot this month at Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford. You're going to be saving thousands of dollars on this deal, but you got to come do it now before the end of the day so you can take advantage of those thousands of dollars in savings. You can basically buy a Ford for the same price as the team at Harry Robinson, but you got to act fast. So come on down today. It's 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Sallisaw. You can always find them online at harryrobinson.com. Hey, bring in your trade too while you're at it. You know what? There are multiple appraisers on site bidding on your vehicle, and the most for your trade is always at Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford. They have some other deals happening right now as well, matching down payments and some giveaways happening. I'll tell you more about those later. It's Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford, and this is ESPN 95.3.
Life is loud, chaotic, hilarious, and occasionally peaceful. Your life fits you, so why settle for life insurance that fits someone else? At Shelter Insurance, our local agents help you design a personal protection plan backed by award-winning customer service. We're your shield. We're your shelter. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Call Ted McAvoy in Van Buren.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today and see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit can save you up to $500 off your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by the Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
Can you explain the infield fly rule? Neither can I, but I can help you navigate a variety of legal issues, from divorce to personal injury to estate planning. I'm Jackie Mock with Mock Legal Solutions, a new law firm offering affordable flat fees with payment plans available. You get an ace at the price of a minor leaguer. Now that sounds like a grand slam to me. Call Mock Legal Solutions for your free consultation. 479-769-1505. Real advice, reasonable price.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
In Arkansas, 7 out of every $10 placed on a sporting bet app is with Bet Saracen, because Bet Saracen offers more ways to win and more ways to get paid, and faster. Find your winners on Bet Saracen and look for my R prop bet specials. I pick them and you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
The Hit That Line Now app is ready for you to download from the Apple and Google Play stores. Sponsored by Taco Bell. Live Moss.
Sit down. Go. Mother. No. No. What? All over. Mailbox.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 79 years. Home of the Lewis Guarantee. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Yeah, look, there's not a matter of disrespect to the older gentleman, the World War II veteran Seymour Wiener, who passed away, and the Mets are doing a $1 hot dog night in his honor. That's in his honor. That's not making fun of him. It's literally is in his honor. I mean, the guy was a lifelong Mets fan who loved the Mets, and the fans loved him too. But in the style of Seymour Wiener and General Booty and Raleigh Fingers and Jim Bob Cooter and Dick Trickle and David Freese and Dick Butkus, who, by the way, was in shows that were called My Two Dads and Blue Thunder. Here is the Zach Crotchfelt moment.
Getting a look at Zach Crotchfelt warming up here on this frigid Saturday.
Phil, my pen's not working. How do you spell that?
Crotchfelt, just how it's pronounced.
Okay, thanks.
Tavian Josenberger leading off. Switch hitter batting righty. Fastball from Crotchfelt, a strike at 93 miles an hour. He is from Jackson, New Jersey. Where's number 77? Freshman number, right? 6'2", 210. And Crotchfelt throws one right down the middle for a strike.
I mean, I think it's important right here. Crotchfeld's a freshman. I think it's important we come out and pound Crotchfelt early and get on the board. I mean, just pound away. And
like I said, get him out of the game as quickly as possible.
Please.
0-1 the count on Stovall. Here's the pitch. Slider into the dirt. Good block by Dial. Lunging with his foot ahead of the throw.
Crotchfelt. Is that Native American?
I don't know what it is. It's Jackson, New Jersey-ish.
Yeah, it wouldn't be Native American. I could see him like Chief Crotchfelt, like his great-grandpa.
1-1 the count on Stovall. Here's the pitch. The fastball missed outside, 2-1.
Crotchfelt, he's definitely feeling it here with Jared Wagner up in this situation.
The set by the lefty and the pitch to Wagner. Crotchfelt misses inside with a fastball. He's got some fuzz on that fastball. That's 93.
That's where it all came tumbling down.
1-0 on Jared Wagner.
You can hear the pride in my voice that he won't be talking for 3 minutes.
Here's the pitch to the Hawks
Shut him
left
down.
fielder. That's low. 2-0 on Jared Wagner. Wagner's hit in 11 straight games, 6 home runs, and 16 runs batted in during that stretch. Boy, you just can't ask for a better opportunity here in the first inning to grab the bull by the horns. Took Arkansas about 3 innings to get things started yesterday.
How do you spell it? Just like it sounds. Okay, thanks.
2-0 on Wagner. The
There's-
pitch. Swing and a miss.
there's
It's
just
a
a-
well-located fastball coming up near the left shoulder.
There's a little bit left here. You got to hear when Bubba finally gets back on.
He's trying to come inside on Wagner.
Because you
Doing
can
what?
hear, I'm looking at him and I'm smiling that I beat.
Might have picked up a Sonic burger and threw it at him.
I was waiting for the Sonic burger to be thrown at me, but eventually he got back in.
Well, he's got a bat in his hand. I know that. He picked up the bat and threatened you, didn't he?
He was
got
literally
that little
keeled
baby
over.
bat.
He was dying in
Outfield
laughter.
Playing straight up for Jared. Crotchfelt using up a lot of that pitch clock. It's down to 1 second. Now he throws and missed with a slider. Ball 3. He used up 19 and a half seconds of that pitch clock.
Sorry, Phil. Something went wrong with my mic. Got me?
Yeah, right.
Swallowed a
I
butterfly.
swallowed a bug.
It is. People ask me, so what's your favorite moment calling a game? Really, it actually has nothing to do with the game. Trust me, it has nothing to do with the game. It's that moment. Oh gosh, thanks for bringing it up. Thank you Seymour Wiener. I'm sure he lived a lovely life. He's being honored today in a way that I'm sure nobody else has ever been honored by dollar hot dogs in his last name's honor. But he'll never be my favorite last name. And you just heard the reason why. And JT, if you want to ask who's more immature, I think you know the answer.
There's no question. So I've got two names from my days of working in the newspaper that are just classic. There was a writer when I was 22, 23 years old. I worked at the Log Cabin Democrat in Conway. That's a great name, the Log Cabin Democrat. I was a sports editor. The editor was a young lady named Dixie Land. First name Dixie, last name Land. And that was her real name. No getting around it. Then later I worked at the Tulsa World, and the chief photographer was Rabbit Hare, Hare. His sister was named, what do you think? Just guess. What his dad named his sister?
Rabbit, long?
Bunny Hare.
Curly?
Hey, there were people that thought we'd had a typo, and on the photo credits, Rabbit Hare, they call in as hey, y'all need to quit, trying to be funny. No, that's his name. It's not a nickname. That is his name, Rabbit Hare.
Brent and Cersei's name is the mouth. It's nothing that's going to make us crack up, but it is his nickname, and his name is also Brent. Hello, Brent. How are you?
Lord. I'm good, Phil. How about you?
I'm all right. Appreciate you calling.
I'm going to be up at the games this weekend. Mm-hmm. You think we're going to get it in? You think we're going to get him in tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, I think you'll be all right. If they got to get a doubleheader, who knows? It'd be Friday, but I'm not too worried about it. I think we'll play. It'll be just fine. By the way, Zach Crotchfeld is now playing at Texas Tech, for anybody who was wondering, if you want to go listen to a Texas Tech broadcast.
Well, all I know is that we're going to come out of this funk this week and take 3 from Texas. That's all I know. We're going to get it straight.
Well, here's the other thing, too, though, Brent. I think I don't want to. This is not to come across defeatist or anything. You try to win every game you play. You win a game in this series. Don't get dominated. That's the thing that I'm noticing from this last weekend. They haven't been swept. I get worried when a team gets swept at this point in the season. That means you were not competitive enough. You didn't win a game on a weekend. That hasn't happened. That's why it's not a full tailspin. I mean, it's not going in the right direction. You lose 3 series, you get swept in 2 of them. That's a tailspin. That's not happening.
I'll agree. I agree with you 125% there. I got people telling me we're not going to host a regional. I said, get real. Come on.
Well, here's the thing. Like, they're in the tournament. If you lose the next 3 series, depending on how it goes down, maybe you're not hosting a regional. It'd be really weird to go into a postseason with 6 consecutive series losses and still expect to host a regional. I don't think you would. I do think you're going to have to win a series in these next 3 to stay at home at least in the first round.
Oh, I agree, but I think we'll make it. We'll win a series.
I think they will too. They may win all 3 of them.
They may sweep a series, and that changes things too. You're just assuming that winning a series is 2-1. I mean, they've swept Vanderbilt. That's big too. When you look at where this season is and where it was, that sweep really makes a huge difference. A road sweep, and they have actually played all right on the road. So I don't think that that they're in dire shape. I think that they need to play a little better, and not a lot better.
That was the thing for me in 18. A team that lost every road series they played, but they won a game in every one of those series, and then they were dominant at home. So I mean, this team has won on the road, they've won at home, they've lost on the road, they've lost at home. I don't really think it matters where they play. I think it's a matter of how they play, because I've seen them play just as well on the road as they have at home, and I've seen vice versa too.
They just need
Clay, I hate Texas as bad as you do. I just want you to know that.
Okay, well, that's serious hate. I mean, if you're trying to keep up with me, you're going to have to go some.
They're a bunch of egg-sucking dogs.
Man, that's a good one, Brent.
So I haven't heard of egg-sucking. I've heard of egg-sucking mules. I don't really know what the difference is, but I assume that that's a bad thing.
Does a dog really suck an egg?
I think they eat them pretty quick.
I think they would eat them too. But I do like the terminology, Brent. We'll see if I get Bubba to throw that into a game broadcast sometime this weekend. 877-377-6963 to get with us on our Lewis Automotive hotline. Oh, there's a good one too. I wondered whether or not if Crotchfelt might have been wettish. Well, he might have thrown a pitch into the dirt, and then maybe it was. And to be entertained by all of these things. Yes, very good. This is what happens when we don't talk tax laws and minutia in contracts for buyout language.
Amen.
Let the lawyers and let the administrators and let the athletes and the agents handle all of that stuff.
Yeah, and just good old-fashioned Texas hate. I mean, there's always a place for that.
That sells. That sells around these parts, doesn't it?
I think it does. I think I've proven that.
I think you have, because you wrote about it again. It's like I love the column, Clay, because the start of the column details like where your hatred, how it all happened. You got to let people, because this is the thing too.
It's in the Bible.
But I remember getting into this when it was Texas week during football season, and I thought, people around my age, that are from the state of Arkansas, you grew up in that. You know what that's like, and so you truly do view Texas as a rival. But I think that there's those who were quite a bit younger, that were raised in the era of SEC only, you've only heard about the rivalry with Texas. And then the times that you've experienced it is when Texas was not up to the level of an SEC club.
Not vintage.
Either in football or in baseball. Well, obviously the football team this last season was perfectly up to SEC snuff. The baseball team obviously is too. Now you get to sit and sweat in this rivalry and actually become part of it. But then this also, Clay, you'll know this more than I will. There's a real Texas feel to the student body at Arkansas. I don't know what the percentage is. Was that the same thing back in the Southwest Conference days?
No.
I don't think so. So I think a lot of these kids come to Arkansas, they might have grown up Texas fans.
Well, let's differentiate between what the student body is and what the sports teams are. But it was definitely Coach Broyles recruited heavily out of Texas. And you think about Bill Montgomery, Chuck Dykes, Lloyd Phillips, Ronnie Cavanis. These are all conference players that Texas didn't recruit. They came to Fayetteville wanting to beat Texas. That's, like Lloyd Phillips, he played in a rage against Texas. He's the best player on the field, plus he played in a rage. And it was because of Texas. His 3 years, they didn't lose to Texas. And those were Texas teams that were ranked number one when they beat them twice. So the student body may not have reflected, native Texans, but the football team definitely did.
877-377-6963 if you would like to throw your hatred of Texas here on our Lewis Automotive Hotline. Hey, maybe you just had lunch, you got big plans for dinner. After your meal, you're always craving something sweet and delicious, so get over to Andy's Frozen Custard because they have the greatest frozen treats around. Thinking of the ooey gooey concrete at the moment. Frozen custard blended with Heath Bar, cream caramel, and almonds. Delicious. It's at every one of Andy's locations across our listening audience in Northwest Arkansas, Conway, Fort Smith, North Little Rock. You can also take home a pick six. That's 6 of your favorite flavors for the perfect treat. Andy's Frozen Custard, walk up or drive through, always ready to serve you. And it's the home stretch of halftime. We are back after this.
I think about the tuna's talent. The tuna would not be called the tuna if it wasn't for the man above.
This is halftime.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
In Arkansas, 7 out of every $10 placed on a sporting bet app is with Bet Saracen because Bet Saracen offers more ways to win and more ways to get paid and faster. Find your winners on Bet Saracen and look for my double R prop bet specials. I pick them and you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on Green Bay's team. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
ESPN 95.3 is live on location.
Hey, we're back on ESPN 95.3. This is Colton Little. I'm coming at you today live from Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford. They have employee pricing happening today. It's the final day of the sale on all new Fords at Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford that you can take advantage of this awesome deal. It's employee pricing on every new Ford on the lot this month. You can save thousands of dollars on this. You're going to get a deal for the exact same price as the team at Harry Robinson this month. They have a huge inventory right now, and it's all deeply discounted to counter the price increases due to all those tariffs. So you got to buy now before the prices increase. The selection's never been bigger, and it's never been better. So come see them today at Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford. They got new vehicles, they got pre-owned vehicles, and plenty of deals that you can take advantage of. They got matching down payments and an awesome way that you can score some prizes. I'll tell you more about that in just a little bit, but stick with me here. It's ESPN 95.3 coming at you live from Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today and see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit can save you up to $500 off your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by the Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
Insurance company throwing you a curveball? Are they crowding the plate and not offering you a fair settlement? If you've been injured in a car wreck, you need an experienced attorney to fight for you. I'm Jackie Mock with Mock Legal Solutions, licensed in Arkansas and Oklahoma. No win, no fee. Call Mock Legal Solutions today for your free consultation. 479-769-1505. Real advice, reasonable price.
It's Kubota Orange Days at Gray Brothers Equipment with interest rates as low as 0% for 84 months and reduced pricing on all Kubota inventory. It's time for your new Kubota at Gray Brothers Equipment. That's Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poto, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon. Now through 6/30/25, see Gray Brothers Equipment or go to KubotaUSA.com for more information.
Taco Bell's all white meat crispy chicken nuggets are back, but that doesn't make us a chicken place. I mean, yes, everyone loved them, like a lot. That's why we brought them back, along with our signature dipping sauces. But the crispy golden breading is actually tortilla chips, which is very taco place. So we're still a taco place. You think of us as a taco place, right? Who are we? No, I mean, we're good. It's just nuggets. Just crispy chicken nuggets, only at Taco Bell, your taco place. It's also a chicken place. It's also a taco place. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Contact store for availability.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 79 years. Home of the Lewis Guarantee. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
And Hall of Famer Clay Henry with us as we are into the home stretch here of Halftime. 877-377-6963 to get with us. Matt, remind me who I'm watching on Champions again today. So I watched PSG and Arsenal yesterday.
Barcelona and Inter Milan International. Your favorite, Yamal. I mean, he's the wonderkin.
But he's actually spells his name with a Y.
Man, he's the best player under the age of 20. You know, how you're going to put him in groups right now. Dude is phenomenal.
We saw earlier Clay on the show. I was reminded by Grant Hall that the 1985 Razorback baseball team will have a reunion this weekend for the Texas series, which will bring back great memories for them, but maybe a little bit of a memory that it's not a matter you'd like to forget it, just a little bitterness because they played so well against Texas that year, but lost to them in the College World Series and ended up in third place. But I also saw Jeff King was on that team. Today in 1996, King did something that only 2 other players had ever done in Major League history, which has hit 2 home runs in the same inning for a second time. He had done it the year before, and today in 96, against Cincinnati for Pittsburgh. Jeff King hit 2 home runs in the same inning. Willie McCovey and Andre Dawson also did this, which makes King the only one who did this and isn't in the Hall of Fame. But he had a really good career, and I asked, you'd know this too. I asked Grant, do you think he'll show up? Because he's such a recluse that I'd be surprised if he does.
When Norm DeBryan saw him at the College Baseball Hall of Fame induction ceremony earlier this spring, he was one moment said I'm coming and one moment said I'm not sure. So I don't think there was anything definitive that Norm got from him that particular day. So, Phil, do you remember where he lives?
I think it's Montana.
Yeah, but you got to know the town.
Is it Whitefish?
That is exactly where it is. That is a remote area, and I mean, he picked it because it's remote. And he said that's what he was going to do. So I wonder if you could say to Cam Kozel now, where would you pick to live remotely that you could hunt and fish every day of your life? He might say Whitefish, Montana, someplace like that.
But he's not a shy person. He's not, he's actually pretty gregarious. He's a talkative guy when you get a chance to sit there and talk with him. And the one time, I mean, you know how I am about Jeff King. I don't know why I picked him as a Pirate, but he was my favorite player. And then the year that I interned for them was this year, 96. I was still in college, so I wasn't there when he hit the 2 home runs in the same inning. But the last day of my job there, I don't ask for autographs. It's just a standard of mine. But at that moment, at the age of 19, I thought, well, this is the only chance I'll ever have. It's the last game. I would go down. I had a broken bat of his. I asked him to sign it. And I'm thinking, well, he signed it. He was very nice. You want to ask somebody about what it's like to play in one of these great cathedrals. And I asked him, what's Wrigley Field like? And he just didn't have anything nice to say about Wrigley Field, which gave me two perspectives here. One, I wasn't sure if he really liked baseball. Two, some athletes look at what they do as a job, and I think that's how he viewed it. I think it was a job to him, and if that's how you view it, I think it's difficult for us, we who don't have that kind of athletic ability to be a professional athlete. That we say, well, I do it for free, but I think to a lot of people who do this, they enjoy it to a point, but it is work.
Yeah, I think if you hear, the baseball, junkies, the guys that have been in it their whole lives, and they look back and it's the grind of the travel and being away from family. And when I know that James McCann told me that when he was first in the major leagues and they didn't have children, I don't know who it was, somebody on the Tigers team says, you take your wife as many of these road series as you can over the next couple of years until y'all have kids, because that stops. And says, take her along and let her see this life that we have. And knowing that she's going to say, this isn't a great life and I don't miss it, I'll stay home. And that's exactly the way it goes down almost every time. But it is a tough, tough grind. And for most of the players, they don't miss that part of it. The travel, the playing in the visiting stadiums, you're away from family, you're eating hotel food. It just goes on and on. So I get it that you might have got that response from Jeff King.
So I was going to change directions here for a moment and ask. Well, first I'll offer my answer here. The most money that I ever remember costing my father, and this is independent of maybe wasting a year of college, which is also a waste of money. It was the first month that I had my driver's license. I'm 16 years old, and I inadvertently, in a parking lot, caused damage to a lady's car. So it was like $1,000, $1,500 in damages, and I felt terrible about that. I got yelled at, but it's also an honest mistake. I was used to driving, and I mean, it was my fault. So I'll always remember that. I'm pretty sure that's the most money I ever wasted from my parents on a single time. How do you think this kid, Jax Ulbrich, feels? The one who made the fake phone call, the prank to Shedeur Sanders? The NFL has fined the Falcons $250,000, and they fined Jeff Ulbrich, the Falcons' defensive coordinator, Jax's father, where apparently he found the information just lying out there at home. Coach Ulbrich is fined $100,000 for, quote, failing to prevent the disclosure of confidential information distributed to the club in advance of the NFL draft, unquote, which means keep your phone numbers in your phone, right?
And it wasn't a good look, not at all. But we hear these numbers, Phil. We don't actually hear what they pay. So they come out. That's what the NFL does. They come out. Oh, this is what we're fining you. This is what we're fining you. They're going to go to arbitration or court. They'll do those will get cut in half a little. I mean, they won't.
Is that really how? No, I'd never heard of this. When I see that somebody's fined for excessive, an illegal hit or a series of illegal hits, that they don't always. It's not always the dollar value that we see. They don't always pay that.
Yeah, you got a union. You got people fighting for you. You say, well, what about? I mean, there's all sorts of people that you pay money to do that.
You negotiate it down, yeah.
So if you're Jeff Ulbrich, you're going to find a way to get this $100,000 down to something. Still going to be quite a bit of money.
You're still going to pay $40,000. You're still going to pay probably close to 50% of it.
It's not an honest mistake by the kid either. It is to me. I mean, I don't know what would happen here, how he would find the phone number, but there's no way that a grown man gives a prospect's phone number to his son. So if there's an honest mistake to be made, I think it would be the father in this case. But you've got to, I don't have your phone numbers just kind of lying out there when I'm doing a ball game or when we're out at a show, because who knows who may write that thing down. It's just I don't expect that my son's going to go through my phone and find your phone number, Matt, and send you some weird text or prank call you or something. If he did that, I'd make sure he had really good material, though.
Yeah. It was Jerry Seinfeld's birthday yesterday, so anything in that vein, that'll work.
We used to do prank calls when I was junior high. We lived 18th and Fair Park. You know exactly where it is, Phil. I mean, it's
sure
not far from Ray Winder Field, and it's also not far from the zoo. We walk by the zoo on the way to school sometimes, and the Little Rock Zoo. We would call the zoo and ask for Mr. Lion.
And you didn't get any answer from that, did you?
Oh, we always hung up.
The best, Clay has a lot of stories, and I love listening to him. But one of the best, Phil, is he was talking about how they were playing golf and they were hiding off into the weeds or into the hedges.
The culvert.
And then the guys would hit it and think they made this hole in one, and they would go pick up their ball and go place it into the hole, and then the guys would come up there and think that they actually and they know the whole time.
That was number 14 at War Memorial Park, right next to the zoo. And there's a culvert. There's a road right behind it between the zoo and the golf course, and there's a culvert, a little concrete culvert, and it's a blind hole. You tee off over the hill, and it's only about 250 yards. So you got to make a decision. I'm going to hit a 5-iron and make it over the hill and stop in front of the green, or you take a 3-wood and maybe you knock it on the green. We'd stick somebody's golf ball in the group every time in the hole and then hide in the culvert and listen. And then one time we put all 4 golf balls in the hole. And they knew the gig was up.
They must have known at that point.
Yeah, they knew the gig was up. They couldn't turn in 4 hole-in-ones.
I remember it's funny the things you remember. I remember maybe the age of 4 or 5, back in the days of the rotary phone, I for some reason decided to grab the yellow pages, just open a page, and dial whatever number my finger landed on. This was like at 7 in the morning. Mom and Dad were asleep. I didn't have anything else that I wanted to do, except, and I didn't even think of it as a prank call because the gentleman answered the phone, and I just started asking questions. And you know what he did? He answered those questions because there was a 5-year-old on the other end of the phone. Mom and Dad eventually walk upstairs, and they're like, "What are you doing on the phone?" Like, I made a new friend. They weren't too pleased about that. I didn't make any prank calls after that, except when I worked at the college radio station.
5 for dinner this evening, Mom.
That's right. Guess who's coming to dinner? Mm-hmm. All right, I want to put you on to Rowback. It's the brand that redefines comfort. Best hoodies, best joggers, polos, performance tees. What sets Rowback apart is the fabric quality. They're all about best fit and best feel. Everything's buttery soft. It's stretchy in all the right ways and amazingly comfortable. The softest hoodie that you'll own is the Rowback hoodie. There's tons of athletes wearing them right now. The Sprint joggers are lightweight, breathable, and super soft. And the Azalea collection is live right now, perfect for spring golf, and you can get 20% off at rowback.com by using the code checkout. Using the code RUSH25 at checkout. That's RHOBACK.com. RUSH25 is the checkout code for 20% off at rowback.com. Back to wrap up halftime right after this break.
The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
This is halftime. ESPN 95.3 is live on location.
You're listening to ESPN 95.3. This is Colton Little. I'm coming at you today live from Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford, where today is the final day that you can take advantage of employee pricing on all new Fords at Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford. You can save thousands of dollars with employee pricing right now. You can buy a Ford for the exact same price as the team at Harry Robinson this month. Come take advantage today while this deal is still going on. Hey, they also have this great giveaway happening right now, where if you come take a test drive of one of over 200 vehicles they have on the lot, you then get a chance to play egg toss, and if you make that egg into the hole, you do win some awesome prizes. They have patio furniture, a sweet kayak, and as well as free oil change and detail. So come let Harry Robinson take care of your vehicle, let you win a new kayak, and come see Harry Robinson today. Take a test drive and take advantage of employee pricing. It's Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Sallisaw.
Doctors, nurses, and other medical professionals are just people. They've got their lives and families same as you and me. But what happens when big hospitals and insurance companies ask too much of them and make them work too many hours without enough help? You can only stretch something so far before it breaks and people get hurt or even die. That's where I come in. If the healthcare system in our area has hurt you or someone you love, call me. Together, let's make them do healthcare better. I'm Phil Votaw, and you've never met a lawyer like me.
Keep your haymaking season rolling with big savings on New Holland hay tools at WT Equipment. Right now, choose 0% financing or cash back on select disc-bind disc mower conditioners and roll belt rounders, and save thousands. You'll cut with more confidence, bale faster and tighter, and save for seasons to come. Ask about our industry-leading warranties, too. Hurry into WT Equipment for these ready-to-roll savings. Offer ends June 30th. Capital America LLC approval. Standard terms, conditions, and other restrictions apply.
When your carpets, upholstery, and floors look dirty and stained, call your local Service Master Clean at 646-4087. Service Master Clean is an industry leader and can remove the toughest stains from your home or office. And they back their work with a satisfaction guarantee. Eliminate dirt and grime from your carpet, hardwood, tile, and laminate floors. Call your local Service Master Clean, 479-646-4087. That's 646-4087 or online at servicemasterpc.com.
Spring has arrived, bringing warmer days, road trips, and unpredictable spring showers. That's why it's the perfect time to visit Southern Tire Mart. From top quality tires to expert service at competitive prices, we'll make sure your vehicle is ready for all your spring adventures. Visit our Fort Smith location at 9700 Highway 271 and let us prepare your ride for whatever the season brings. Southern Tire Mart is a proud dealer of Yokohama tires. Southern Tire Mart, we keep America rolling.
Wes, how many people can a large pizza feed?
About 4.
So I should tell Cousin Jeff 1.
Oh, wow. He's a big eater.
The biggest. He once got kicked out of an all-you-can-eat diner because they ran out of food. How many can a small pizza feed?
I'd say 2.
Our small pizza at $15 is a meal for 2? We should advertise this. That goat'll hunt.
Dog.
What you call me?
That dog will hunt.
Wes, dogs are man's best friend. Goats are the true hunters.
Goats?
Billy Goat Jr.'s Grammy was trained to chase squirrels, cats, birds, and rabbits. We could hear her for miles through the brush. And she'd circle them right to us.
You're not serious.
As serious as a meal for 2 for $15.
You're an interesting cat.
What you call me?
A meal for 2 for $15. Eat Jim's RazorbackPizza.com.
Call or text the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963.
You are the sun, you are the only one. My heart is blue, my heart is blue for you.
Welcome back into halftime, live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
All right, wrapping things up here in halftime. Matt Jones, Hall of Famer Clay Henry, Christian Johnston as well. See if I've forgot to get on anything that I'd put on here on our rundown. No. Oh, happy birthday, Isaiah Thomas.
64.
64 years old. That's right. He's playing the Beatles song as well. He's one of the great point guards in the history of the NBA. But
I'd agree with you there.
He's probably also just remembered too for not being on the dream team, unfortunately, but he was certainly good enough to be on that club.
I agree with you, just like I think Jalen Brunson was good enough to be on the last one. But sometimes it counts to about who you know and who likes you and what's your relationship with certain people.
Refresh my mind. There was a player or two that he didn't get along with. Was it Jordan?
I think it was because the coach was Chuck Daly, who coached the Pistons.
Yeah,
Chuck Daly. It's like you just look back on it.
He just knew better. It wasn't going to work.
But they were so nasty. You remember when Isaiah Thomas left and didn't even shake anybody's hand? And
he did that.
So they they held it. They say Jordan can hold a grudge. Yeah.
That's one of the all-time grudges that I think of.
All time. He's never gonna let that go. They'll never make up. I don't think he wants to.
Isaiah won 2 titles before Jordan won his 6, and it was the Pistons that were always in their way. I mean, the Pistons were the reason that I don't think they made it to the finals.
Those two, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Well, happy birthday to Isaiah Thomas, also a great Indiana Hoosier. Otherwise, I was going to get it. Was just trying to mix and match the coaches and the Peach Bowl challenge. Clay, I don't know if you saw. There's this golf scramble, or it's team versus team, where it's
yes, I'm aware.
Shane Beamer and Houston Nutt on the same team. Hugh Freeze, Steve Spurrier on the same team. Could they have put Houston Nutt and Gus Malzahn on the same team again? I mean, they're competing against each other. Thought Dan Mullen and Urban Meyer would be a pretty interesting pairing. Talk about their days at Florida together. And Steve Spurrier and Kirby Smart. You could do a greatest cocktail party thing between the two of them. That'd be kind of fun.
The one of the great rivalries was Fulmer against anything Alabama. Phil Fulmer. I mean, like they tried to arrest him. It was. I think this was all over the Albert Means case where Alabama got in trouble for the recruitment and Tennessee might have turned him in or whatever, and they put out a warrant for Fulmer in Birmingham. Of course, he's like, well, I just won't ever go there. Which that was the solution, and it was all just rigged because of hatred of Tennessee and Phil Fulmer. But you could put Phil Fulmer playing golf with Nick Saban. How about that one?
That would work well too. Well, it's enjoyable, Clay. Thanks for coming on. We'll look forward to doing it again next week. Okay.
I look forward to it.
Absolutely. Really. May see it bomb this weekend when
look forward to that
on
too.
Texas. Yeah. Very good.
Little downward hook 'em horns going there. Yeah.
Matt, I'm going to turn on Champions League just like you will, and look forward to doing this again with you tomorrow. So for Matt Jones, Kristen Johnson, Clay Henry, I'm Phil. We remind you Ruskin and Zach are coming up, and the Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast is available in just a few minutes. You can download it anywhere that you download your podcasts. And that's halftime, so have a great rest of your Wednesday. Be safe with the rain out there, and get up, get out, and get better.